All right, welcome. Welcome to the regular board meeting of the Escondido Union High School District for August 5th, 2025. It's nice to see so many people in the audience tonight. And let me start out with some prepared words here. Good evening, everyone. I am reconvening the regular board meeting. I would like to extend my sincere welcome to everyone attending our meeting this evening. Some of you may have heard the sad news that we lost one of our employees this summer, Monica Beltran, the student attendance technician at Escondido High School, tragically passed away due to an accident while traveling in Mexico. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I would like to express our deepest condolences to her family and friends. Monica was a cherished member of the Escondido High School community and touched the lives of many with her kindness and dedication. Monica leaves behind her loving husband, 3 children, ages 4, 15, and 18, and other family members who will cherish her memory. I'd like to begin this meeting with a moment of silence to honor her memory. Thank you. Testing? Yes, we can. As you can all see tonight, we have a brand new boardroom with a brand new dais and everything like that. And it's not just to make us look more important. It was so that we could actually see each other. The other dais, the ARC, didn't allow us to see each other as well. So John, after doing a lot of research in his staff, he found this dais, which is movable. And so we're very excited. And I just wanted to thank a number of people that went and put all the effort into here, the dais and the entire room. And that would be Miss Phillips and her entire team of business, Assistant Superintendent of Business Services. So thank you, Amanda. And Marie, I know that you coordinated a lot with everybody involved here. And of course, we have Mike Byers and Marco, who sit in the back there, who've done a lot of work on that. So I just want to thank those people, and especially the IT guys over there in the corner. That's Eric. He doesn't even get a name badge, but he keeps this whole place running. He could shut me down at any time. And the reason why I came out front tonight to speak is because we have a lot of people here tonight that want to talk. And I know that I love Escondido, and I know everybody in this room loves Escondido as well. And it's very important for board members, when somebody is speaking, to let that person finish speaking. I know that there's a lot of emotions one way or another on things, but if there is a lot of clapping and cheering or booing and hollering, it makes it extremely difficult for the board members to hear you. We're going to give people enough time to talk. We're all Escondidans, we're all Americans, and it's an honor to have you all here tonight. That's the thing I love about this country, that I'm not, I came out to speak to you tonight as just part of the community, not some guy that sits behind a dais. I really care about all the people that are here tonight. I just want to say, please give us the courtesy to finish whatever we're saying or whatever anybody else wants to say tonight. It's really important. So with that said, I'm going to go back and I'm going to establish a quorum. All right, we're now going to establish a quorum for tonight's evening through a roll call. Trustee Knight?
Present.
Trustee Vincent?
Present.
Trustee Durney?
Good evening. I was elected to this board in November 2014 as Bill Durney and re-elected in 2018 and 2022. This year, I have come out as a transgender woman and I have changed my name to Carol Durney. I will share my story after the meeting and answer any questions. With that, as Carol Durney, present.
Trustee Williams is absent. Trustee Weller, present. We have a quorum as 4 members are present this evening. I also want to thank Janet Lopez. Excuse me. Janet Lopez will serve as a Spanish interpreter for this meeting. Thank you, Janet sits in the back there. Meeting attendees who would like to listen to the Spanish interpretation of the proceedings may pick up headphones from the table located at the back of the room. And now I invite Janet to repeat this announcement in Spanish.
Buenas tardes. Yo seré la intérprete de español de esta junta. Los asistentes que deseen escuchar la interpretación en español de las sesiones pueden utilizar los audífonos que se encuentran en la mesa ubicada atrás de la sala. Gracias.
I would like to remind everyone that this meeting is being webcast live and recorded. The recording or webcast may capture images and sounds of those attending this meeting. I would also like to mention that the district is changing board agenda platforms tonight. We're going from Board Docs to the Diligent platform. The new platform offers more robust features, but I would beg for everybody's patience as we make this change in case we encounter any technical glitches in managing tonight's meeting or my ability to find where I'm supposed to be in the agenda. With that said, I invite Trustee Vincent to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Working with the new system here, so thanks for your patience. All right, so we did the Pledge of Allegiance, and now we can move on to the report taken in closed action, which will be reported out by Board Member Knight.
Thank you. The report of action taken in closed session for Tuesday, August 5th, 2025. This evening in closed session, on motion by Board Member Durney, second by Board Member Knight, the Board of Education voted to approve physical education waivers cases number 1 through 38 for the 2025-26 school year by a 4 aye, 0 nay, 1 absent, 0 abstain vote. And that would conclude my report of action taken in closed session.
Thank you, Trustee Knight. It's also very nice to see you, a direct line of sight. In the past, there was like, we were pretty much in a straight line. All right, now we're going to approve the board meeting minutes of June 17th, 2025. Can I get a motion and second, please?
So moved.
You?
Go ahead, Dave.
Second.
All in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
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 Very good. And then, let's see. So, and then we're going to approve the agenda now. Any additions, deletions, or corrections? There are none, so we do not need to, so we can just approve the agenda. Can I get a motion and second, please?
Move to approve the agenda as posted.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Consent, the consent calendar. Items on the consent marked with an asterisk. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine or sufficiently supported by prior or accompanying reference materials and information as to not require additional discussion. A motion will enact all consent agenda items. There will be no separate discussion of these items prior to the time the Board of Trustees votes on the motion unless members of the board, staff, or public request specific items to be discussed or moved from the consent agenda for separate action. The district administration recommends approval of the following consent agenda items. Because we do have 18 speaker cards and a full audience and a number of items on the consent calendar, I'm just going to leave the items, which is basically F1 through 8, G1 and 2, and H1 through 8 on the consent calendar. You can take a look at them online. And so I need a motion to approve the consent calendar.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That passes. For those of you that have come to the meeting for the first time, this is pretty fun, huh? Now we come to the fun part, recognition and presentations. And so we have a presentation recognition from the Escondido Adult School by Principal Stacy Adame and an annual update on Escondido Adult School student achievement and programs. So Principal Adame, there you are.
Thank you. Good evening, board members, Board President Bob Weller, members of the board, Superintendent Peterson, and members of the cabinet. I'm delighted to be here tonight to highlight the exceptional work that Escondido Adult School has done for our students and our community this past school year. I think I have some slides.
Great job with the projector, Amanda. Those are bright. It's very nice.
Beautiful. Thank you, Eric. But we have adopted the district's instructional focus because we hold our adult learners to the highest standards. And at EAS, we believe that this focus will prepare our students to meet their educational and professional goals. Next slide, please. I'd like to start by discussing adult secondary education, or ASE. This title refers to students in our high school diploma program and also in our English and Spanish HiSET programs. Last year, we saw a small decrease in our enrollment and in our pre and post tests, but our students' achievement in every other metric was higher when compared to the 23-24 school year, as you can see on this chart. For instance, our ASE students showed a 4% gain in educational functioning levels, indicating that they moved an entire grade level over the course of the school year as measured by their CASAS pre and post tests in both English and math. Now in this content, CASAS does not refer to Dr. Casas. It refers to the National Comprehensive Adult School Assessment System, which is used throughout California to measure academic achievement. In our exit surveys, 11% more ASE students reported that they met their post-secondary goals, such as starting college, going into a trade school, earning a CTE certificate, and getting a job or a promotion. In addition, 22% more ASE students met other literacy gains this year as compared to last year, meaning that they completed civics, health, or digital literacy competencies as they studied for their high school diplomas. And finally, I'm very proud to report that we increased our graduation rate by 3% this year, with 151 students graduating in the class of 2025. Thank you. Next slide, please. And English as a secondary language, or ESL achievement. Although our enrollment was slightly lower this year, our ESL students' overall achievement percentages were higher in two key categories. Our ESL students increased the percentage of their completed pre and post tests by 2% as compared to last year. This is tied to funding, so it is very important that we get both of these tests from our students. In addition, there was a 17% increase in the percentage of other literacy gains, which were achieved in part by our students' strong performance on their co-ops. Co-op stands for the Civic Objectives and Additional Assessment Plans. These plans are a core component of California EL Civics programs, and they offer literacy gains beyond just basic reading and writing. So what they include, again, are family literacy, digital literacy, civics education, and health literacy. And these programs definitely enhance our students' ability to be prepared for the workforce. They increase labor market participation and improve overall quality of life. So our students excelled in other literacy gains due to 3 key factors. Number 1, we piloted 2 digital literacy courses last year that were extremely successful. We had these courses in the morning and also in the evening. Number 2, we increased the enrollment in our citizenship classes, and we piloted an online citizenship class this year as well, which was very, very popular. And number 3, we had an 83% co-op pass rate, which is quite good. Despite these gains, our past immigration integration, or our I-3 exam numbers, were down by 2% last year. Passing all 3 of these exams requires consistent attendance and 5 to 6 weeks of study for each exam. So our slightly lower enrollment affected our performance on this metric this year. Our ESL students' EFLs, or educational functioning levels, were also slightly down this year by 2% as compared to 23-24. These levels are used to categorize adult learners based on their literacy and English language proficiency. And as I discussed earlier, an EFL level gain is like going from 9th grade to 10th grade in 1 calendar year. And this is often very difficult for an adult ESL student to do in 1 year of study. So down slightly, but hopefully we'll get those back up next year. Right. Yeah, any questions?
Yeah, so the ESL classes, are these classes online, in person? What are those?
We teach all of our ESL classes in a hybrid model.
Okay,
So depending on the level, it would be 1 or 2 days online and 2 days in person,
okay.
based on student surveys that we've done over the past 3 years.
And they do like that, because I would just be
Yes.
curious if in more of an in-person model would lend to better. But, I
Could
mean,
be.
it's good, obviously, but.
Yeah. The in-person part is important for our pre and post tests because they need to be in person for us to administer them. And the co-ops are often done in person because they're applied knowledge. So they have to demonstrate the skill, such as I have to demonstrate that I know how to do an interview appropriately using the appropriate language. So the in-person part is very critical, but our students have very busy lives outside, and so oftentimes having that option not to have to come in 4 days a week for 3 hours a set class session really does help them.
Thank you.
Childcare, et cetera.
Which we provide too,
Yeah.
resources. Thank you.
For the audience, going by the adult school is extremely moving. Seeing adults at 7:30, 8:30, 9 o'clock at night working on whatever subject that they're working on, whether it's a nursing, pre-nursing, or just getting their GED or what it is, it really inspires you. It's also our one high school in the district that is performance-based. If they don't reach certain metrics, they don't get funding. And so there's a great, so Principal Adame does a great job making sure that the teachers are really helping the students to perform. It's really awesome to see over there. So I just wanted to give a shout out on that.
Thank you very much, President Wheeler. Thank you. Okay, for CTE. In CTE last year, which is Career and Technical Education, we had a 15% increase in enrollment, due in part to the generous scholarship of the Palomar Health Foundation, or the sponsorship, of the Palomar Health Foundation and their scholarships. This foundation supported 79 students who may not have been able to afford the medical assistant, pharmacy tech, and phlebotomy classes that they completed last year if it were not for the Palomar Health Pathway Program. In addition to our medical classes, we also offer CTE certificates in welding, vet assisting tech, AutoCAD, and Microsoft Office. This year, we are also offering a beginning finance course, as well as expanding our CTE medical offerings, which we anticipate will increase our CTE certifications next year. And as you can see on this chart, we are still working to rebuild our pre-COVID externship programs and have recently established a partnership with Sharp Steely to increase the number of externships we offer our phlebotomy students. We are also reestablishing our Palomar Health Group and our neighborhood healthcare medical assistant externships for the 25-26 school year. In addition, we have reestablished our partnership with Redwood Terrace for our incoming CNA students who will begin their practicum experience this August. And we'll be offering 2 sections this year of CNA, which is great.
And thank you for your efforts on that.
Yes.
Because you know how I like to discover things and then bring them to light for people that aren't aware of these kinds of things. Unfortunately, we have a harder time capturing externships because schools, other career-focused schools out there that charge a lot more for their programs, I've come to learn can pay for these externship spots out in the community, and we have an incredibly affordable program, and as a district, we can't necessarily compete with those larger, well-funded schools to get those spots. So my challenge to any entity out there would be to, for every spot that you take a paying student, please offer a spot for a student from our adult school or somebody that is not going to school with those kinds of resources. So that's just my sharing with those. But thank you for that effort. 'Cause
Thank you.
It's hard. Yeah.
And thank you for all of your help with this too. It's been a game changer. It's 80 students who would not have those certificates if it weren't
And
for
I would
the
really like
organization.
to acknowledge that the funding came from the Prebis Foundation, which is an incredible organization here in San Diego County doing great work for youth. And this grant was focused on emerging youth, so youth about 18 to 26. So, but that funding is a private grant that came through the Palmer Health Foundation and was really, really intended to really go to work here in Escondido, so that that our students here can care for our community right in our hospital and in our healthcare system right here. So
Did you write
Thank
that
you.
grant?
I did, luckily.
You did?
I did.
Yes. So
Thank you.
when we talk about these grants, Christy's not going to say it, but she wrote the grants. So thank you, Christy. You've done an excellent job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you. It's been
So
life-changing.
Bob and I went for a tour and we were watching them in action. So it was very impressive, right, Bob?
If you want to give blood, phlebotomy students will take you.
That's
If
why
you like for them to practice.
that was the reason why I was in the back.
No
of the room.
promises.
We saw the way they looked at us when we walked in the door.
Yeah, it was that fresh meat coming
Exactly. Sit right down here. Okay. So next slide, please. So EL Civics achievement this year, as compared to 23-24, our students show growth in nearly every metric in EL Civics. We increased the number of students participating in civics units by 5% last year. This gain was achieved by the government and law unit that we taught in all of our ESL classes, as well as a 137% jump in enrollment in our citizenship preparation classes. If we had more teachers, we would offer more of these classes, and this is great that folks continue to come to these classes, and we are going to add an additional section of citizenship prep next year to meet this need. In addition, our IELCE, or Integrated English, Literacy, and Civics Education number grew by 22%. This number represents our ESL Basic Caregiver class that was designed to help English language learners improve their English proficiency while also becoming workforce ready. More than half of the 11 students who took this course have already been hired as caregivers. The interview process is actually embedded in the curriculum, so they're interviewed while they're still in class, and some of the employers want to take them before we've even had them complete the course.
Can you repeat that number again? How many were taken?
We had 11 students take that class. It's capped at 15 because it's paid for by the federal government. So they pay for everything for the students. And it's taught with a content teacher teaching the nursing part of it and an English teacher teaching the English part of it.
I work in the senior space, and that is so necessary.
Yep.
It is like it's just such an important field to get people into, so that's great news.
Absolutely, absolutely. And although our payment points were slightly lower this year, we still earned more points than Vista, who is really the school that we're most closely aligned with, San Marcos and Ramona. These are all schools that are in our consortium, and we beat them again. These points directly affect the funding we receive from the federal government under WIOA 2, the Adult Education and Family Literacy Act. That's a testament to our teachers and our students who worked tirelessly to make sure that students were pre and post tested and that they were able to do their co-ops on time. Okay, next slide. Okay, here's our improvement plan. Our first centers on math. Our PLC team in our ASE department is continuing to work on their math cohorts. Last year, they bested their number of students who pass their math high-set test on the first try by 14%. And we will continue to offer our math cohorts with small group instruction in both English and Spanish next year to meet the goal of increasing this gain by 5% in the 25-26 school year. We're going to hopefully continue to have that number grow. We're finding that those small cohorts really are helping our students pass that test first. Next slide. In CTE, we are planning to increase the number of students who enroll in our classes and who subsequently earn a CTE certificate. We'd like to do this by 15% in the 25-26 school year. To meet this lofty goal, we plan to increase the number of sections we offer of medical administrative assistant, medical billing and coding, and reestablish our CNA classes. In addition, we plan to create a new pharmacy tech pathway by offering an advanced pharmacy tech class in January of 2026. You can see the actual numbers here, so we think we're going to meet this goal. And in order to talk about this new pathway, it is my great pleasure to introduce you to our pharmacy tech instructor, Lisa Provencio. Let me introduce you first. So Lisa has led our pharmacy tech program for the past 4 years. Prior to that, she was an assistant to our former teacher. She taught at Boston Reed College as a pharmacy technician instructor, and she also has served as a pharmacy technician at UCSD's Health and Medical Center. She is currently putting together the advanced pharmacy tech class that we just discussed, and she's going to tell you a little bit. She's going to tell you a little bit more about that. If you could change the slide, Eric. Sorry. Change it twice.
So, as Stacey mentioned, I'm Lisa Provencio. I'm the pharmacy technician instructor, and I've been leading the class for 4 years, and prior to that, I assisted with the previous teacher, Melinda. And my experience as a pharmacy technician, I've been a technician for over 30 years. I have taught with UEI as well as Boston Reed College. And I really enjoy and love what I do. And we are now in the process of developing advanced pharmacy technology. Super excited to do this, and we are anticipating it to start in the spring of 2000. We're already in the midst of preparing everything. And this is not only just for open community, but previous pharmacy technicians currently work in the retail pharmacy, which is probably a very high number of students that graduate from our school are in the retail pharmacy. By offering these advanced pharmacy classes, will be more.
Real quick, Eric, I'm hearing that from the web that the volume's a little low. I don't know if you can boost that to the outgoing signal. Thank you.
So to highlight the program, we're offering the pharmacy technician pathway, which we currently are offering this pharmacy tech class 3 times a year. Have it for spring and fall, and we have an accelerated pharmacy technician. It is over a period of 10 weeks. So this is my 2nd year now of us doing this, and it's been a success. We just completed our current course on August 2nd, for our last class. So the advanced pharmacy technician course will be launching in spring of 2025. And this offers a 2nd tier credentialing for pathway completers that are increasing. It will increase the progression and Next slide.
Go back one.
Oh, and the externship, we've added CVS to our externship rotation for the fall of 2025. So we're excited to what this is about. And we continued 12 active pharmacy externship sites, including Walgreens, Save-On, Walmart, Advanced Care. And students will graduate ready to sit for the PTCP Pharmacy Technician Certification licensing. And next slide. Thank you.
I've watched It's a Wonderful Life, so I'm glad they're training. It's a reference to the beginning of the movie if you haven't seen it.
Oh.
That's it? Okay,
you.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, we move on to the public comment section, and we're going to begin with a report from the California School Employees Association, Escondido Chapter 219, if anybody's here. Okay, and then they are not, so we'll report from the Escondido Secondary Teachers Association. It's like nobody's here from there as well. So I get more things to read here, so bear with me. So now we're going to move on to public comments, comments from the public on non-agendized topics that lie within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board. General public comment on any school-related topic not on the agenda may be heard at this time. If you have public comment on an item listed on tonight's agenda, there will be an opportunity for you. Bear with me as I work the system here. An opportunity for you to share your comments at the time the item comes up for discussion by the board. I'll read some ground rules that we have. The board shall limit the total time for public input on each non-agenda topic to 20 minutes. Generally, each person may speak up to 3 minutes. At board discretion, in order to allow all persons an opportunity to participate if desired, the board may reduce the amount of time per speaker when necessary. Before everybody gets up in arms, we're going to give you time to speak. Upon conclusion of all public comments, or 30 minutes, the board will continue on to the next item of business on the agenda in order to ensure the board can effectively and efficiently conduct the district's business in public at this meeting. In the event more time is needed for public comment on non-agendized items, to ensure all those wishing to address the board have an opportunity to do so, the remaining public comments will be heard on agenda item J1. However, I'm going to talk to the superintendent about this in a second, that I think I may want to just have all talk at this point in the meeting. The Board of Education is prohibited by law from taking action on matters discussed that are not on the agenda. The board looks forward to and encourages your participation. We have received cards from, is this 9? 9 people who wish to make public comments during this meeting. This is 9 from the non-agendized, right? Okay, and then you have 9 more from agendized.
9 on an agendized topic.
On an agendized topic. Okay, great. Okay, great. So the fact that I have 9, and we're giving 3, 27 minutes. If you're on good honor, and at the end of 3, you're going to get beeped, right, Marie? At 2.5 minutes, correct? Say that again. Oh, we have a timer on the screen now. I don't have to throw stuff at the speakers anymore like I used to. So we will call the first speaker now. Looks like Drain Reese, and please forgive me.
Thank you, members of the board. I appreciate it. Mr. Durney, as a biological woman, I'm offended that you want to pretend to be one. You are a man by birth. You need to stay in your lane, man. You step down now from this board. You have psychological and mental issues when you want to pretend to be something that you will never be. You are a man, and I'm sure a fine one. But this is an abomination. You need to stay in your lane, a man, and step down now from this board. This is a fascination with dress up. I urge you to consider that that was a game played by children. Should we not have all matured into upstanding citizens that children can role model? Which you have in this room. Is this what you want to role model to children, to the school, and to all of us and to society? You will be judged, and not well, for this decision. More so, you will be judged by God, and it's a terrible thing to fall into the hands of a living God. You are toying with delusional thinking, and yet I feel for you that you're even considering this. No one makes this decision except for something that traumatic that has happened in their lives. So, such as you might have been an object of rape yourself by another man, or some unresolved trauma that occurred in your life, and I'm sorry for that. But you don't need to do this, please. Stay in your lane, remain a man, but please step down from the board now. And do yourself a favor, remind yourself that you are a man. You will always be a man, and no amount of pretending will make you anything but a man. And I suggest that you get undressed, take a look in the mirror, and if you have an appendage where women do not, it'd be an epiphany for you that God made you perfect exactly as you are. But please don't cut it off, because you're going to wind up with more mental trauma, and you will still, after all of that, be a man. Either way, sir, you have no right to make this public statement as a member of this school board where innocent children will be exposed to this bizarre choice. You need to stay in your lane, remain a man, but for the sake of all of us, step down now. Thank you kindly.
All right, the next speaker is Carrie Nicolas. Feel free to always correct me. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here to represent the children that everyone here, I believe, has gone to school for, because I myself am a teacher. I just haven't applied in California. And a little scripture here. Thank the Lord. Right. I'm talking to Bill Durney and anyone else on this board who doesn't know the Lord, or anybody in the audience. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me to preach the good news to the poor. He has sent me to announce release, pardon, forgiveness to the captives, and recover of sight to the blind, to set free those who are oppressed, downtrodden, bruised, crushed by tragedy, to proclaim the favorable year of the Lord, the day when salvation and the favor of God abound greatly. I would like to talk to Bill Durney. The Lord wants to help you and open your eyes, and anyone else who's not saved and needs deliverance, because I myself love children, and so does the Lord. And even though we're all comfortable here right now, there is coming a day, and none of us want to be what Mark 9 says. Mark 9:42. But whoever causes one of these little ones who believe and trust in me to stumble, that is to sin or lose faith, it would be better for him if a heavy millstone, one requiring a donkey's strength to turn it, were hung around his neck and thrown into the sea. So I asked Bill Durney, please step down and get deliverance in the name of Jesus. And put the 10 Commandments back in, where you vote for it.
Thank you. Couple things. So is the timer come up? Is it in front of them, Marie, or is it supposed to be up? Oh, it's not showing? Okay. Are you timing on your screen? Okay, cool, thanks. Also, Eric, was there any help on the sound out to the, like, were you able to turn it up at all? Okay, so that's something we'll just have to work on. As long as they turn it up, yeah. Okay, thank you. All right, the next speaker card I have is Maria Bendano Longton. Maria, Longton. Thank you, Maria.
Maria Biondo Longton. I am a retired teacher, librarian, and this really is a nice, beautiful, it is nice to be able to see the faces. And when I looked about the audience, I couldn't see here. I thought, gosh, we need another woman on the board. And I didn't know, well, at any rate, I guess I'm here to talk to you. I'm sorry to point at me. I didn't know what to call you. I didn't know you were Carol. And at any rate, I was going to talk to Bill, but I just feel a bit like you've done a bait and switch on us when, you know, we expected there to be a woman on the board that we would like, but you got elected, but you're not a woman. It makes things very difficult. And there's another concern that I have too for you, Durney, is when I was newly divorced and I had 4 children, and I could not get a job because the school district, the daycare centers, they told me, you're fresh out of a divorce. We're not going to take a chance on you. You work out your problems, you know, before we give you a job. And I'm sorry about the loss of your wife, but trying to become a woman is not going to bring her back. And there are many other ways that you can honor her, and I don't want to get concerned about you. It's that I'm here for the children. As you can tell my confusion, I wanted to address you politely. I wasn't sure how to do that because it goes against, like the other lady said, you're made a man or a woman. One time when I was teaching school and there was talk about gay people, I had a little boy come up to me. I was in a 2nd and 3rd grade combination, and he said, teacher, don't you ever look at your bottom? Don't you know that we're different? And it's just a very stressful thing, but kind of a betrayal of electing you. Now you're not ill anymore, or that's your plan. So it is my request that you be removed from the board and we get someone that can process things and the needs of our children and not cause conflict in a classroom and in a school district, really. Horrendous conflict.
Thank you. Okay, then we have Rosie Hignerd, Hignerd.
Hello, members of the board. I am Rosie Higuera. I'm president of North County Republican Assembly, and I'm here to address you, Bill Durney. The voters voted for you as a man, and now you have become a fraud trying to become something that you are not. God made you in his image. In Genesis, it says he made them male and female. Biologically, to the cellular level, you will always be a man. I want you to read the Bible and see that your identity comes from Christ and Christ alone. And any other mental delusion that Satan is trying to tell you that you can be something that you're not is a lie. And you have God, the creator of the universe, loves you so much, he sent so many people here to tell you the truth. The Bible says you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. So there is a standard when it comes to teaching. I'm a former teacher and director. I've worked with children since I was 12 years old. They are the most precious little angels, and we need to protect them as adults. We should not exploit them. We should not confuse them. The National Education Alliance, the largest teachers union in California, is seeking to put all this LGBT agenda, take parental rights away from parents, and force an ideology and a delusion on innocent children and take their innocence. You all are in a critical point of history where you can make a difference for all children. It's like abortion is baby murder. It's legal, but it's wrong. So you guys have a brain that God gave you, and you could choose to do the right thing. You don't need anybody's permission to not sexualize a child. You don't need anybody's permission to protect girls from confused boys and men that think that they can go into girls' bathrooms or go into sports. You guys, you're a male-dominated board. God created you strong and powerful to be the providers and the protectors of women and children. Have the moral courage to do the right thing. So I'm asking you, Bill, to please step down, do the honorable thing, and let someone else take your place that's going to actually provide and protect a safe learning environment that's about academics, reading, writing, and math. It's not about sexual identity. It's not about any of these political agendas. It should be about preparing little children that are impressionable. Their brains don't even form till they're 25 years old. It's about teaching them how to compete in a global society and be critical thinkers. And all this other garbage needs to go out the window. So God has tasked each and every one of you to do the right thing. And I hope and I pray that you all do that. And Bill, please step down. That would be the kindest thing to do, and start reading the Bible. God loves you. He has an incredible plan and a purpose for your life, and you're a man. Be proud of it. Be proud of it. Embrace that. Thank you.
All right, Michael Davis.
Evening, board. Thank you for allowing me to come this evening. Normally I come about this time just before the school year starts to speak about my advocacy as a faith leader for our LGBTQIA+ students. It is complete happenstance, the information that I'm receiving tonight, and I'm really blessed that I decided to come tonight, because I really want to challenge you. No matter the amount of fear that you hear from the voices that you hear speak tonight, fear over things that they cannot contextualize into a box, that fear can drive people to do things that actually becomes harmful for other people. I've heard words this evening from Scripture, and I do want to share one bit of the Scripture that I heard this evening, is that whatever that we do to harm children, we need to be aware of that. I want to share this evening, Ms. Durney, your existence does not harm children. Your existence opens a door of opportunity for young people who are growing into themselves to see that they have a future possibility within their lives. So thank you for the bravery that you shared this evening. I would like the rest of the board to understand one very important thing. Throughout this time, you will get a lot of fear-filled statements, and fear is against God. I do not want you to succumb to fear. I do not want you to succumb to misunderstanding. I want you to be willing to be able to be in a place of conversation. The only time that I made a direct statement this evening was a moment of a compliment. Every time that you hear a direct statement that is an attack, that is a moment of fear. And you as a board have to process through that fear so that you can actually do what our students need to do. You can actually care for them. You can actually do what our students need done. So please, this year, as you process your thoughts, as you process the work that you need to do to create educational environments that are affirming to all students, especially our LGBTQIA+ students, please make sure that you set aside my fear, other people's fear, your fear, so that our children actually have a chance to thrive. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Next speaker is Carol Marie Seidenberg. Finally got one.
Hi, my name is Carol Marie Seidenberg. Thank you, Bob, for correctly pronouncing my name. It's a rarity. Bill, I'm here to speak to you. I'm so sorry for what you're going through. This is not the thing, the example we need for our children. It really isn't. And I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of Bill. I'm not afraid of what's going on. I'm afraid of the judgment of God. The judgment of God. You're a man. Human beings were made in the image and likeness of God in a binary manner. Either man or woman, not in between, and not changeable. Every cell in my body speaks to my gender. As a biochemist, I know that my cells either have a Y chromosome or 2 X chromosomes. You can't change that. No amount of surgery, no number of hormones will change who you are. I'm really sorry for whatever it is that caused you to come to this decision. I really am. And I hope that you can find peace. Please step down from the board while you go through this difficult time. Please. Don't bring this to the children. They don't need this kind of an example. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, the next speaker will be Scott Herman.
Good evening. I've lived in Escondido since 1985. I love this city. I'd like to just briefly, one of the reasons I love this city is going all the way back to the founding of the city in 1888. The city granted 7 churches free land, free bricks, and that was the mind of the founders of this city. This was a Christian city, and it still remains that very much that, and you can't deny that. All you have to do is drive around this city and see the great number of churches that still flourish in this city. And Bill, I ask you to consider the gravity of what you're doing. This is not a minor thing that you're up to. This is, in the eyes of God, Bill, I just ask you to reconsider what you're doing. It's not about you. It's about the children. This is an incredibly self-centered thing that you are undertaking. Now, Bill, do you have a fear of the Lord?
Although you're asking him questions, it's our bylaws. He cannot respond.
Okay. The Bible says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Now, Bill, do you believe there is a real heaven and hell, or is that just a fairy tale for you? Because I would say to you, even if there's only 1 in a million chance that there is a real heaven and hell, do you want to live do you want to take that chance? Because you may have just a mere 80 years on this earth, but eternity will be either in heaven or hell. So again, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. I ask you to reconsider the gravity of what you're doing. This is no small thing. You are defrauding the public. You ran as a man. You should, if you have any balls, you would resign and reapply to run for the board as a woman and not defraud the public as you are doing right now.
Sorry, the timer you're at your 3 minutes. Thank you. I do want to thank the audience. You guys have been very respectful to all speakers, so I want to thank you for that. We have 3 more speakers to go. Paul Hanush, looks like, is a speaker.
Honorable board members, I stand before you today, respectfully request the resignation of Mr. Durney. I understand you're going through a mental crisis, and I have huge compassion for you. As a former school board member, as a veteran, as a father of a daughter who attends school here in Escondido, my concern stems from the belief that a school board member's personal choices, specifically for transgender identity, may conflict with the values and expectations of our community. I urge you to step down and allow new leadership to better reflect our shared priorities. Many hospitals have banned their transgender programs because the science shows this has been harmful. This kind of appropriation of a woman's gender constitutes a war against science, truth, and against women. It needs to end. Please be respectful of the women and girls in our community. Don't do this. Research those who have detransitioned and the horrors that they have gone through. As someone commanded to love his neighbor, I caution you to repent. God doesn't make mistakes. You were wonderfully made as a man. You are not a God who can choose your gender. Board members need to set a good example for our students, not lead little children astray. If you are not happy with the body that you were born in, try being born again. Thank you for your time.
Lisa Richards.
I will respectfully refer to you as Carol. Feel appalled to be surrounded by puritanical bazaar. I mean, it's going back centuries. It's amazing. These are not small children. These are people coming into their adulthood who should know what people are like. Not just Christians. We're not just a Christian city. Shocking, I know. Oh, there's Jews, Muslims, oh my gosh. There's people who don't believe in God. All of these people are the children. Separation of church and state, I think, really needs to be seen here. Because, damn, this is just, I'm shaking. I am so appalled. I worry for our children, not for these reasons, but for what we're teaching them about intolerance and the reality of what people are. Thank you.
Gary Cass.
Board, staff, thank you for allowing us to address you tonight. A lot of things on my mind, but I'll try to be succinct. Trinity decision does announce that we are a Christian nation, so we can, without apology, invoke our Christian heritage. A lot of people think it's unloving to confront people when they're doing things that are wrong. Let me give you some biblical training. And by the way, I'm Pastor Gary Cass. I pastor a church here in town. Here's the great love chapter. Everybody loves it, right? Love suffers long and is kind. Love does not envy. Love does not parade itself, is not puffed up, does not behave rudely, does not seek its own, is not easily provoked, thinks no evil, does not rejoice in iniquity, but rejoices in the truth. Tonight we have to deal with what is truly loving and what is really truthful, and the good news is that question has also been answered for us by the Lord Jesus Christ, who in John 17, as he was praying for his church, said, Father, sanctify them with thy truth, thy word is truth. So tonight we have a conundrum. We're a Christian nation, we affirm Christ, and Christ affirmed every detail of the Bible, every jot and tittle, including the creation account of man and woman being created in God's image. The same holy God tells us that it is an abomination for a man to lie with a man and a woman to lie with a woman, and for a man to dress as a man or a man to dress as a woman. So gender fluidity is not new. This has been dealt with over the millennia, and it all boils down to this: rebellion against your Creator. The warning of Christ has already been issued tonight, but it bears repeating that it's better for you to have a millstone tied around your neck than to cause any of these little ones to stumble. I was on the school board. That put the fear of God in me as a school board member. By abusing your office, you are making Christ your enemy. Why would you do that? By abusing your office, you're betraying the people who did not vote for a transsexual. You didn't run as a transsexual. You've defrauded the people. In the end, this is a moral, emotional, and spiritual act of abuse. You need to resign. I'm not sure what caused you to lose your way, Bill. I've prayed for you, if you only knew. But I do know the way back, because it's the same way I had to take when I was lost and when I was at war with God. May God grant you repentance, saving faith in Christ. And may our loving Lord forgive you and do what he has promised to do.
Pastor Cass.
To heal your broken heart and heal your broken mind.
Thank you. All right, thank you all for who came to speak tonight. We are going to continue on with board business in section F, educational services. The first 8 items were approved on the consent vote. Thank you. And so we're going to move to F9, the approval of course pilots. So, Dr. Casas, did you want to go over some things? Or are we just
there was no changes since the last time we met in June.
So then, curriculum pilot proposals. We would like to pilot the following year-long courses for the 2025-2026 school year at San Pasqual High School. Biology AB, project-based learning pilot, is written to provide students with the requisite skills necessary to meet the next generation standards, NGSS, grades 9 and 10, and the learning outcomes expressed in the college and career readiness statements. There's quite a bit more read on this, but we have presented this before. So there's also a robotics pilot, which I know David is over there very happy. that there's a robotics pilot, provides students with the opportunity to work in engineering teams and design, build and test increasingly complex robots. The course will illustrate the engineering design, the importance of integrating sensors, effectors, and control, and briefly discuss robot learning and multi-robot systems. There's no fiscal impact on this. So I guess if we're looking only at F9, I need a motion to approve and a second, please.
I move to approve.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That motion for the new classes. Thank you, Dr. Casas, for your team and your time for putting those together. We'll move on to F10, approve textbook adoption. Is there anything new regarding the textbook?
No changes since the last time we met. We did provide a copy in the front desk of every school and our district office since the last board meeting. And just a reminder, College Board does require updated textbook every 10 years. This is an updated edition of the textbook that all of our campuses currently teach in AP Psychology across the district.
Thank you. So the new textbook it's on the board there for you to see, AP Psychology, Myers Psychology for the AP course, 4th edition by David G. Myers. Can I get a motion, please, to approve that?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That passes. Let's see, action upon recommendation. Okay, so this is there a specific reading for number 11, or can I just read out action upon recommended expulsion of the accused student? So I guess we need to do a roll call vote on this.
I'll make a motion. So I'll move to accept and approve the recommended expulsion of the accused student for case number 1 from August 5th, 2025 through at least August 5th, 2026, and to accept and approve the stipulated expulsion agreement.
All right, this is a roll call vote.
We'll need a second.
Oh, second.
Second.
Thank you. So roll call vote, Trustee Knight,
Aye.
Trustee Vincent,
Aye.
Trustee Durney,
Aye.
and Trustee Weller, aye. So that motion passes. We don't like expelling students, but for the safety and other things, we do things like this. Item number 12, agricultural program at San Pasqual High School. Discussion regarding the future of the agricultural program at San Pasqual High School. It's not an action item. This is a discussion item only. And we have, yeah. So everybody did pretty good on the 3 minutes. Sadly, the clock isn't up there, so I have to pull this out again and start throwing it. But you guys are ag students, so you could probably catch it and throw it back. With that said, the first speaker on this topic will be Angelina Onda.
Good evening. I'm Angelina Onda. My daughter is the incoming FFA president at San Pasqual High School. Thank you for adding the SP Ag program to your agenda this evening. I'm here tonight in hopes to get an accurate evaluation of the Ag and FFA program at San Pasqual High School. I believe the program is unfairly getting dismantled based off of manufactured data. We're not witnessing an organic decline in enrollment. We are seeing an administrative field decline. 3 years now, Ag classes were omitted on the course selection handouts to enrolling students to choose their classes. Where students are supposed to get information and support in the counseling office, they are actively being discouraged to enroll in Ag. When my daughter enrolled at SP, her counselor advised her to enroll in another school for their Ag program. They are actively discouraging passionate and motivated students and instead filling the courses with underperforming or failing students as a last resort. There are many other students with stories of being discouraged from joining Ag or students not knowing the program is available. Actions like this only damage the integrity of the program, but it also manufactures data to justify the elimination of the program. It's not a reflection of student interest. This is a reflection of administrative interference. While the enrollment in the program may appear to plateau or be dipping, nationwide FFA memberships has actually been climbing. With over 1 million members, California accounting for over 104,000 members. California's agricultural industry is $60 billion, with San Diego contributing $2 billion. These students are the future of California, especially since we are the #1 ag-producing state in the country. Our FFA and ag program aren't failing, they're evolving. When cowboy culture and country music are becoming popular, rodeos and ranch life are booming, students want hands-on, real-life skills that lead into this vibrant lifestyle. Ag and FFA make this connection, but only with proper support and exposure. At this point, I believe an audit rather than a program closure is essential. I believe there is an intentional effort to shut down the program. If counselors discourage students from taking ag classes, it can dramatically lower enrollment. Some students stated they were told courses didn't count towards science credits and other courses weren't fine art credits. Intentional, misguided information to produce a low enrollment. Also, the program is not being mentioned at all. Without proper promotion from administration, how can a program be? I'm sure they're not discouraging students from trying out for sports. Not every student fits into the jersey or is at ease on the field. Data shows that FFA students frequently transition into related careers. These industries are growing and in high demand. They are careers that are deeply relevant. This program is our future. 92% of FFA members pursue college educations. Students in ag programs have higher graduation rates and lower dropout rates. Ag offers real-world hands-on learning from animal science to business. Students gain leadership skills, public speaking roles, career readiness, certifications, and prepare students on both college and the workforce.
15 seconds.
The elimination of this program isn't equitable. Sampa School is supporting sports teams with only 7 participants and other teams with only 12, but we don't see an elimination. And of those students on both teams, only 1.3 will go on to compete or play in college. An ag class of only 20 will send 9 students off college.
Thank you for keeping it to 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker will be Jason Schaefer.
Hi, my name is Jason Schaefer. I'm going to continue where my wife left off. Even with a small program, it is successful. But I believe that a strong administration and teacher support, and add in the passionate students, we can and will have a large, thriving department again. We hope the district and administration sees value in the program, which creates rich leadership, career development, and academic potential. We hope it is receiving the same support as other sports and CTE programs. We look forward to keeping San Pasqual a fair and equitable campus with opportunities for all students, not just what administration deems popular and mainstream. We have created an audit checklist which could be beneficial to make a more educated and informed decision instead of based on decisions of manufactured data. We as families and students would also be excited to have the opportunity to help promote, recruit, and create a successful ag and FFA program with support from our academic leaders, but our success would only come with proper administrative support. We look forward to your continued support and guidance on how students, staff, and community leaders and family can work together to support a solution and create a successful program. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Like your hat too.
Thank you.
Next speaker, Giovanna Schaefer.
Good evening. My name is Giovanna Schaefer, and I'm honored to be the incoming Vice President of the San Pasqual FFA program. I stand before you not only as a leader, but as a proud and active member of a program that has given me countless opportunities. Through FFA, I've attended leadership conferences, raised animals, and created lifelong memories, and soon, I hope to earn scholarship opportunities. But the truth is, if this program is taken away, I lose much more than experiences. I risk losing opportunities that could shape my future, especially when it comes to college. I plan to pursue a career in agriculture, but how can I stand out to ag-based universities like Cal Poly, UC Davis, or Texas A&M if I can't show them I am a part of a nationally recognized agricultural program? Without FFA, my college applications lose a vital foundation. It's not about lacking motivation or potential, it's about losing the very platform that helps me showcase both, taking away future opportunities. If our district removes the program, it puts students like me at a disadvantage. We lose access to scholarships, we lose the ability to list FFA experiences on college applications, and that's not sensible or fair. That's why tonight, I'm excited to share a recruitment plan that I have put together. This plan is designed to show how much we love this program and how successful it can be with the right support from administration, staff, and fellow students. Together, we can build a strong ag program. Our goal is simple: create a successful ag program. To reach this goal, we plan to show incoming students that FFA is more than just raising animals. It's plants, technology, science, business, and so much more. We want to visit middle schools to give student-led presentations, distribute flyers, and explain what FFA offers, exciting projects, leadership opportunities, and community service hours that can prepare students for college and beyond. Another part of our plan is to host a Shadow Day, where students can join an FFA class period and experience the program firsthand, whether it's caring for animals, working with plants, or developing their supervised agricultural experience, which is an SAE project. To make this plan succeed, we need support from our counselors, teachers, and school staff. We need your help to promote this program, share our flyers, and answer students' questions. With your support, we can continue to grow FFA at San Pasqual and keep building a future where students like me don't have to fight to keep their dreams alive. I'm attaching a more detailed recruitment plan for you to review. Also, after hearing the looming closure and with the short amount of time, our FFA team began to create a student-signed petition for saving the program. I will also be including this petition with the recruitment plan. And as always, Mr. Gregory says, united, we are San Pasqual. Thank you.
I have to say that I'm always super impressed by the FFA students. They wear their clothes and uniforms so nicely. They're well prepared. To have a recruitment plan like that come from a student, I look forward, and the board I know looks forward very much to reviewing that plan. And if there's any way that we can make things work out, we're going to make an effort on that. So the next speaker will be Ryan Ross.
Hello, members of the board. I am the incoming FFA president at San Pasqual. I'm going to read something I put into a newsletter recently. When I first, in a recent speech, I was deeply moved when one of my fellow FFA members, officers, said that we were like a second family, another place to call home. On a personal level, I know this program has changed my high school experience for the better. Even my future goals of leadership and responsibility have been expanded on. This is more than a class or a club. When I moved here from Oklahoma, I didn't have many people I could call friends, or I was moving around from group to group. I didn't have a place I could call a home, a family. And when I went into the FFA classroom, I saw a group of people who were connected in a family, and I became a part of that family. At this point, I know it's not just about agriculture. It is future bonds, memories, relationships at risk of never even happening. There are people like me not going to be able to make those lasting memories. I'm glad I could relate these interests with you, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, son. Your uniform looks very sharp. Next speaker is Jennifer Ryan. You're fine, take your time.
Good evening, Superintendent, Assistant Superintendent, and esteemed board members. Thank you so much for allowing me to talk. I talked at the last meeting, and I tried to think about what I would want to talk to you about. And I would like to talk to you guys about the commitment. These students in the ag program show commitment in everything that they do. They have wanted to succeed from their freshman year to their high school year. And unfortunately, that is not going to happen if the school has their way at getting rid of the agricultural department. Ag has a place in the school, and students really gravitate towards it and find that they have the skills that they need to succeed. My son's talked about going to college because of the FFA scholarships that he could earn, and also being included in the program. It would be a shame to disband the program. As a mom, I see my son thriving and finding a home outside of the house. And so I think that is so important to have your school become your family. And so I thank the FFA program for instilling that feeling of family. And so I'm sorry if I'm not very versed right now, but thank you so much for listening. And I really implore you to keep this ag program at Sam.
Thank you very much. Terry Ryan. Next speaker would be Terry Ryan.
Good evening, board members, president of the board, and superintendent. I'm glad I have the opportunity to speak to you today. My grandson is Ryan Ross, and I've watched him flourish and grow and feel a sense of worth and belonging and importance. He has goals, he has visions, he has determination, and this is all through the FAA program. I'd like to read the Escondido Union High School District Mission Statement. Empowering every student to graduate, preparing for college, career, and life through excellence in learning, offering more than 180 courses. This is your mission statement to each student. It reaches out with great importance, value, and commitment from our school board down to the teachers, down to the people that make lunches at the school. I implore you to follow that mission statement and give FFA an opportunity to flourish, to welcome students, and to continue with its courses. The students deserve that empowerment in their lives. Thank you very much.
The next speaker is John Ryan.
Know you have a difficult decision to make. Doesn't come easy. You've heard one side previously led to the decision to terminate the program at the end of 1 year. Now heard parents, students themselves, value of the FFA program. Not just incidental club, something that is there from a public standpoint, make things look good, as a very real character, as young men, young women, who are putting up their time and effort, learning about the magnificent part of our economy. Agriculture, business, something very, very important in Escondido. Escondido was founded on agriculture, something that we have to hold very, very important. Just dismissing the FFA program, San Pasquale, not serve that. If you want to know more about the character of the program at San Pasquale, then do an audit. And I implore you least extend this program 3 years to review carefully value as students in Pasquale. That you can do. It's very important because you've got kids who have given themselves that purpose there at San Pasquale. So if 1 year program ends, not be able to fulfill their belief, commitment, desire, joy, spirit, FFA program, opportunities, serve them college.
I had a quick clarification question for you. When you say audit, what type of audit are you talking about?
It was mentioned earlier about an audit. An audit is
Well, I know what an audit is, but I didn't know.
it
Oops,
would
sorry.
be an independent entity to come in and review how the program has been handled, what the staff
Okay.
input has been, and so forth.
I got it. So a third party. Thank you. Thank you. Emily Ryan? I was hoping I had a Jack Ryan because of the movies, but
Today I am reading this on behalf of Luciana Trejo, who unfortunately could not be here today. Hello everyone at today's board meeting. I am Luciana Trejo, the Vice President of San Pasquale FFA, the years 2024 to 2025. I am a rising senior in the coming years of 2025 through 2026. My office position could have been longer, but due to the district taking away the AG program, I am no longer able to be an FFA. I have been in FFA for 3 years. I really hope to finish off my high school career with all 4 years of AG finished. I was signed up to do floral design for my final AG class, but sadly, it was taken away from me. FFA has changed me for the better as a student and as a person. My dream is to become a veterinarian. The best part of AG was that there was a class for students just like me who have passion for careers in agriculture. With the class of vet science, I was able to have more knowledge on a career I've been dreaming of for my whole life. Not only have I dreamt of becoming a vet, but I've also dreamed of being an FFA. A short anecdote for you all. I was in kindergarten when my classroom visited San Pasquale FFA, and I got to tour the farm and the class. I had a photo taken of me holding a baby chick, and ever since that day, I have always looked forward to attending San Pasquale High School to join their FFA program. With the program getting taken away from me in my final year, I feel like my inner child is hurt more than anything. I have wanted to be in this program. FFA has opened my soul up to new adventures and memories with new friends. I was able to make bonds with my officer team and other members from other parts of California. I was wishing to go back to the ALA conference and other events, but sadly, those wishes have been put to rest. Not only did FFA help me socially, but it was going to help me financially. Seniors in the FFA program had a gateway to even more scholarships and chances to get money for college. With the program being taken from me, I feel like I have been blocked off from financial help for college. Not only was this opportunity for me, but for others in the FFA. Many other students in need of financial help are pushed away from getting the help they need. I have met so many amazing students and members who have all dreams similar to mine. Why should the district take away these dreams from us? Isn't the entire point of FFA to have a brother and sisterhood for all? Isn't FFA known for being National Future Farmers of America? If we take away this program, we are taking away more future agriculture workers, more people able to make a difference. So please, board members and everyone hearing this speech, let San Pasquale keep their program. Not for me, but for everyone who dreams of making a difference in this country. Because without farmers, who will be there to build up America?
Thank you. Your friend will be very proud the way you delivered that speech. I would like to pass on to the superintendent and Dr. Casas. Kind of like to find out like what scholarships they may have been entitled to that they did not receive, to see if there's any way we could help find some money for those scholarships. So that'd be something that I'd be interested in finding out more about. Our last speaker on this topic will be Steve Jacobs.
Hello, and thank you to the board for allowing me to speak. I'm an Escondido native. My name's Steve Jacobs, and I was fortunate enough to be a high school student at San Pasqual in the FFA program. I always had a real interest in working with my hands and was kind of a struggling student all through grade school. Not a very stellar student, but once I got into the FFA program, things really changed for me. I really felt it was a place where I belonged, and I learned what my passion was. I wasn't bound for college. None of my instructors or anybody at the high school talked to me about college. Didn't really have the grades for it. Once I got into the program of FFA and I took several other vocational ed classes, my GPA definitely went in the right direction. I ended up graduating at San Pasqual, and then I transferred eventually to Cal Poly Pomona and got my degree in ornamental horticulture. I started a business. I employ 55 people, and from compensation going from $43,000 to $240,000. So there's a lot of potential here for students to understand and learn about horticulture, agriculture in general, and not everybody's bound for the standard curriculum in school, and I think this is a super valuable program. I know it is because I am a direct effect of that I saw something that I had passion for, that I really got me going and made me interested in school. And I hire many people from Escondido. I live in the city of Escondido, and I have several employees that live here as well. I also became an instructor. I teach at Cuyamaca College in the horticulture program. I have a real passion for education. We have a real strong need, people in our industry that are trained and have passion for what they do. It's a real struggle for me as an employer to find really good qualified staff that have an interest in the work that we do. I'm a landscape contractor. I'm a licensed contractor. I've been on the board for the CLCA, California Landscape Contractors Association. I was a past president of the state. We have several thousand members. It's really a great experience for these students to be able to work with their hands, get a sense of accomplishment. They're all, as you know, you're all in education. You all understand how important this is, and that I had this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yes, I too won a 4th grade flower competition, and as a boy in 4th grade it was embarrassing, but I was very happy to have won it, so I get that. With that said, we're going to take about a 5 to 8 minute break right now before we move on to Section G, Human Resources.
Just make a couple of comments really quickly.
Please.
I would.
Yes, please.
Because of my time here on the board, I have seen instances where class enrollments have dropped, and we've had a room full of students and families begging us to keep classes alive. And so we've had to make difficult decisions over the years, and I know staff, and it's hard for me to hear that perhaps there was something going on internally, so I do struggle with that, and I do want to, while I don't know what an audit would entail, you know, I want to be cautious of staff making recommendations like, oh, maybe you shouldn't take that class. So I want to publicly say that. I know it's not easy to be a counselor and help students pick these classes, but I want to be very cautious of whenever we're recommending students away from anything. That really concerns me. And then I have also seen where we were about to eliminate a class, and perhaps we did, and the teacher, because of the passion that she had for this class, and I remember it clearly, it was Jessica Young, and that her attempt to keep the newspaper and journalism alive at Orange Glen, and she turned that class around. And there are times when that effort may have to come from not from us, you know, it may have to come from teachers and students that really care about this. So when I hear things about like perhaps a plan for enrollment, I want to, let's take a look at this next year. I mean, before future plans are made across our district for facilities and things like that, I think it's important that we reevaluate this if there is an effort made on behalf of students and others. So with that, I don't know what kind of direction necessarily staff needs to be given for keeping this an option, and for, again, like the opportunity for students to make an effort to increase enrollment and that sort of thing. So if there's a chance for us to receive an update on that and again reevaluate things.
Dr. Casas?
Yes, just to address the comments from Member Knight, staff can be directed to simply put it back on the course request schedule. It is an elective of nature, so to specify more, it is not a graduation requirement for the state of California, nor is it required to meet the requirements for UC or CSU admission. I say that because students and parents do have choice to fulfill those credits that they need to fulfill with electives, and with that, certain allocations go to the courses that students and parents select the most. So staff could be directed, just put it back on the menu. Given back to the March board meeting when the board adopted the resolution to reduce the staffing by 0.6. That's why it was taken off the board the course request sheet, but it could easily be put back on. It doesn't require like any formal board action or anything like that. It could be as simple as that. And then we could work with the staff with recruitment plans. So it's very easy to do. In other words, long way to say we can do it.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Casas. All right, and I do see in the audience our San Pasqual High School FFA teacher, so I just want to acknowledge her. And full disclosure, the 8 tomato plants that my wife and I picked up so they wouldn't die were delicious. I hate tomatoes, and they were really good. So just saying. Sure, keep it to 3 minutes, but you're going to have to come to the microphone, please.
So I'm Marnie Wallace. I'm the San Pasqual FFA advisor. This will be my 21st year in the district as an agriculture teacher, and I've taught all of these different classes and done all of this with the students that they're talking about. And it's true what they said about them being misdirected. You know, it's not a fine art. You can't take floral. You can't go to college if you take ag. I think these kids were cut off at the knees with the program being cut without phasing it out if that's the direction it's going to be. But when you take all the equipment out of the ag building, give it to other schools, it's really hard to start the program back up. We've moved me out of the ag building into a regular classroom, but I'm still in charge of the ag area and all the animals. I'm still going to fair. I'm still going to field days. We had a first place judging team. The kids were doing fabulous, and I thought that kids could have got more support with the counselors and the admin, that the program would just take off. because even though the numbers have gone down since COVID, the interest and the commitment of the animals and the activities that they do and the speaking engagements and the conferences that we go to and we travel, all that, there's so many kids that have this niche of being important for their career. Just as Emily said, she was reading for my vice president's speech. That student would have been in ag for 4 years. She's not an active member now. Now she can't apply for her FFA scholarship, college. And she's been dreaming and working for 4 years for this opportunity and didn't get that chance. And I think it's a shame. So if there is an opportunity for us to maybe do an audit.
Is there a way to explore for the students then to have membership still, the other chapter that we have, so that those opportunities are not eliminated, if or however we can get creative, because that to hear that those options have been eliminated.
I'd have to speak with Mia Funk about the particular scholarship. I know FFA has particular requirements of number of years enrolled and what courses enrolled. But we can
You
look
have to be an active member in order to apply.
And that's where we can get creative with membership for the district type.
We can look into it, yeah.
Okay.
And it's so hard for a senior who's been, ever since she was a little kid, and these kids working for 3 and 4 years to have to, leave their friends, leave their teachers, go to a different school. Like, oh, why don't you just transfer to Escondido? Well, sure they could, but it would. What would your kid do? It's a shame.
May I ask a question?
That this wasn't done better. It should have been phased out so these kids didn't get cut off at the knees and not able to do, their scholarships and have their work experience. There's a big gap now that they are going to have to fill other places. Oh.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Okay. You mentioned, someone mentioned recruiting for the program. You're going to put a plan in place. Is there a possibility, is that plan in one of these packages?
I used to go to the middle schools. We used to take animals and go actually talk to the biology teachers and meet with the students. And in the past years, we haven't been able to do that. They'll send a couple of kids to stand on stage, but there's no recruiting going on.
Okay. I thought they mentioned briefly.
We do have this packet right here.
Yes. Absolutely.
Oh, and the yellow one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, they've got big plans to make this happen.
Is this what you have right here? Is this the one? Yeah, I got the packet. Oh, it's the yellow one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Marnie,
I
thank
was
you.
reading this one. Okay, great. Okay, thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay, thank you for your time. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Okay. All right, we're going to adjourn for a little over 5 minutes, and then we'll call back to order. John didn't tell you that. Alrighty, I'm going to call the meeting back to order now. And if I could have your guys' attention, we are in the Human Resources Division now, and the reason why I wanted your attention more than anything is to introduce our new Assistant Superintendent, Sharon Kirpalani. Help me.
Close. Kirpalani. Thank you.
Kirpalani. Thanks. Kirpalani. So we're very happy that you've joined our district, and this is your section. So, but I do have some things to start out with first. In the consent calendar earlier, we did already move to the consent, approve or items number G1, 2, and then we need to talk about the approved recommendations of the committee on assignment for elective subjects, how appropriate after what we just listened to. Do you have anything to say on this item?
Thank you, President Weller. Yes, this is an annual topic that is brought to the board every summer or early fall, possibly again in January when there's a change of semester and teaching assignments may change. These teachers meet qualifications for these assignments by meeting one or more of the following criteria, such as successful prior teaching experience of the subject, completion of professional development in the subject to be taught, or successful completion of college/university coursework in the subject. I recommend the approval of the teachers listed on the agenda to teach in an elective course that falls outside of their credential area.
Got it. Any comments or anything before we get a motion to approve this?
No, I'll make a motion to approve.
A second?
recommendations.
Second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion is approved. Thank you. And then item number 4, adopt resolution R2025 and 2026/1. What does that mean, the /1? First semester?
I believe it's the first resolution of the year for us.
Okay, thank you. Only took me 2.5 years to ask that question. So adopt this resolution assigning teachers to teach outside their designation on their teaching credentials. We need a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 Very good, thank you. For the audience, this gives us more flexibility in moving teachers around and having subjects covered. Did you have anything to say on that, Berlani? Is it doctor or Mr.?
No, I'll go by Mr. today.
Mr.
Yeah, this is an annual item as well. It's very similar to the last agenda item, and as you spoke, it's really allowing the teachers to teach outside of their teaching credential, and so the teachers listed on the agenda item are who you have made the motion for.
Okay, thank you. Also, thank you for being flexible on working through who's talking right now, because I'm working off of a different agenda format than we did last year, so I appreciate your patience on that. Item number 5, initial proposal from the Escondido Union High School District to the Escondido Secondary Teachers Association for successor agreement. Would you like to address that, please?
Yes, thank you again. So this is an information item that's being presented to the board and the public. This is the district's initial proposal. It's also known as a sunshine proposal to the Escondido Secondary Teachers Association, or ESTA, for successor negotiations for the 25-26 school year.
Very good. Do you have one of those blue sheets? Because I wanted to read the items that were on that sunshine provision. As you know, we have a union, and we need to negotiate with them every year. You don't have to negotiate every year. You can have longer contracts, but they choose to do it every year. And the items that we're sunshining, and please, if I say anything incorrect, please let me know, are Article 1, general provisions of the contract. Article 2, class size and staffing ratios. Article 3, evaluation procedures. Article 5, hours of employment. Article 8, salaries. Article 9, employee benefits. Article 11, association rights. And Article 12, negotiations. I know that one of the important things for the board members is that we really start evaluating student outcomes in these contracts. Evaluation procedures mostly look at evaluation of the teachers, but I want to know the outcomes of students. So I know you're new to the position here. You've had this position, or at least like positions in other districts. So I look forward to having you educate us on this and help us on this. So this is just an initial proposal. So there's no vote on this tonight. Is that correct? Very good. Any comments from board members? I'll take that as a no. All right, item number 6. Item number 6, public hearing on the initial proposal from Escondido Secondary Teachers Association to Escondido Union High School District for 25-26 negotiations. Back to you.
Thank you. So we will need to have a public hearing on the proposal that was provided by or presented to the district at the last June board meeting. This is the opportunity to do that. This is a requirement of the EERA.
So there are 2 lines here where I get to open the public hearing. Let me get a time on my computer here. Bear with me. I have to click out of a few screens. Okay. So, and Superintendent, please help me if I mispronounce anything here. But we would like to open the public hearing on the initial proposal from the Escondido Secondary Teachers Association to Escondido Union High School District for 2025 negotiations. We'd like to open that at 7:59. Do I ask for comments at this point?
Yes, if
Are there
anyone
any?
public would like to comment on the Estes Sunshine proposal, you may come to the podium now.
All right, looks showing that no one did. We are going to finish at 7:59 as well. So we accomplished that part of the public hearing. Number 7, receive the Williams report for 4th quarter. I don't remember if that's Mrs. Phillips or Mr. Kirpalani on the Phillips report. Oh, back to you. Yeah.
Thank you, President Waller.
For me for now.
On a quarterly basis, school districts are required to submit a Williams report to the San Diego County Office of Education and to our board. So this report is designed to identify any complaints under the Williams settlement regarding instructional materials, facilities, teacher vacancy, and misassignment. Happy to report we did not receive any complaints, so we have nothing to report.
Very good, thank you. That is the end of your requirement tonight, so welcome. We kept it harmless. We're outside of me butchering your name, so thank you for allowing me to do that. We're going to move to section H now, Business Services Division with Mrs. Phillips. Here again, item 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5. Were approved, that's a few more were approved on consent. So 1 through 8 were approved on consent. So this brings us to the potential to approve the facilities master plan. I'll read this. Actually, I'll hand it off to Mrs. Phillips to read what we're doing.
Thank you, President Weller. Tonight we're presenting to the board the facilities master plan that has been underdeveloped since December. And so we have Chris here tonight, who is part of the amazing team that we have been working with for the last 8 months. And she'll present the plan and its components to the board tonight. So I will let her take it away.
Hello, and good evening, everyone. This is my final presentation for the Facilities Master Plan. I've had the pleasure of presenting to you several times now. And so what we're going to be talking about tonight is essentially a summation of all of the work that we've done so far and that we have reviewed with you, and just to show that to the public as well.
Really
Okay,
quickly too, for board members, you have it in a packet here.
So the purpose of today's update is to review the master plan project process, summarize our findings, preview the website and dashboard, so those are the deliverables of the plan, and then for you to formally adopt the plan. Just to review the master plan phasing, we began with data collection. So that is a collection of all of the existing data as it relates to your facilities and any information that has an impact on your facilities. We reviewed and analyzed all that information to give us an understanding of our existing context. Then we completed facility assessments. So we had assessment teams go out and walk all of your facilities and give an assessment of the existing condition or functional life cycle of all of your building systems. We then facilitated visioning sessions with district leadership to get an understanding of your long-term vision for educational goals and how your facilities should align. We also facilitated community engagement, both with your sites and school site councils, as well as a community survey. And then we completed the master planning process, which was development of the scopes of work and related costs to reflect all of those elements, right? We're looking at what are the needs of your facilities based on their condition, what are the needs of your facilities based on your, context for enrollment or capacity, what are the needs for your facilities based on your long-term vision for educational programs. It all gets rolled up into a master plan, work scopes, and costs. Implementation plan is the alignment of priorities, costs, and funding. And so what we have presented in the plan so far is an initial idea of what that implementation could be. I want to make sure we emphasize here that a facility master plan is intended to be a living document. This plan shows you the feasibility of projects across sites and those related costs. As you determine your resources available to implement projects, should you have them, and how you want to roll things out, that plan will change and reflect any changes in priorities, any changes in your context, things like that. So please don't consider this as static and one time. It is meant to be ongoing, which is also why we've developed a deliverable that is dynamic and can be updated as projects are completed or changed. Just to review kind of everything that we went through, in our data collection phase, really what we're getting an understanding of is your existing context. This summarizes your capacity and utilization, looking at your enrollment versus capacity. Do you want to note that your enrollment has been declining? We look at that in terms of what is your overall capacity, but also what's your capacity as it is compared for permanent construction versus portable construction. And so while you do have a high level of capacity, we have some what we like to call freebies that we can do to kind of help right size some of your campuses. Portables are intended for short-term responses to enrollment growth. There's an opportunity to remove your portables, and so then that reduces that excess capacity. And then we can look at space typology reconfiguration, and so you'll see some of that reflected in the plan. When we looked at facility assessments, in general, your facilities are well maintained, they are functioning, and that is what the facility assessment looks at. They're not necessarily looking at maybe aesthetically, does it look, the way you want it to for 2025? They're really looking at, does it function? We anticipate that in the next 3, 5, and 10 years, you will see more needs as it relates to infrastructure. One of the big items on your facility assessment were roofs. Some of the key findings from the stakeholder engagement, again, we met with visioning groups, we met with site leadership, we met with students, we conducted a community survey, and some of the key findings are the consensus that we heard from all those groups: safe, secure, and welcoming campuses, modern, flexible learning environments, student support spaces, ETE opportunities, arts opportunities, integrated technology, social spaces, and facilities that in general reflect school pride and purpose. Okay, so moving on to the master plan. So this is talking about, once we have an understanding of all of that existing information and your future goals for facilities, how can we develop feasibility studies for what that looks like on some of your school sites? And so we've done that across each of the sites. All of these sites include a proposed plan for buildings, and then we've broken out elements. I won't go through everything, otherwise we'll be here for quite a while. But some key items, for example, across all sites, we wanted to make sure we were highlighting things like athletic lighting upgrades, right? Making sure that there was parity across sites, but that there's also an opportunity to extend the life of the use of those fields across each of your sites. Another thing that you'll see is CTE expansion across your sites. Opportunities to expand programs or enhance the facilities that those programs are housed. A couple of key projects that you'll see on a couple of the sites. We did look at what the potential impact of aquatics facilities would be on sites. Again, that's something that we heard from your stakeholders, and so we wanted to show what that impact would be across those sites. Another item at Escondido specifically is looking at what would happen if we were able to move the START program over to that site using some existing space on the Escondido High School campus to house your START program, which is your adult transition.
Can you remind us where that's currently housed? Here?
Here.
Right here. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
And in some portable buildings and whatnot, so it would be relocating
Permanent.
to a permanent structure, their own campus. There's some excess land on Escondido, just the way that that's configured. So there was an opportunity. What would it give them some? Okay. For San Pasqual, again, what you're seeing is, that CTE. We also looked at field reconfiguration. One of the things I do want to point out, in addition to the lighting, we did identify a turf practice field at each of the sites. We wanted to identify where that could live. And again, we were focusing on parity there and also extending the lifespan or the usability of those sites. At Orange Glen, looking at some parking reconfiguration there, as well as some field reconfiguration, in addition to several CTE expansion spaces. One of the other spaces I did want to mention is one of the things that we heard was a desire to create shared space for students, that it also serves as resource space, collaboration space, a student hub. And so you'll see that project across several sites where you'll see a student center kind of library space in there. And then for Valley High School, CTE expansion space, managed student support. They had some specific needs as it related to their weight room, then hard court upgrades and outdoor lighting. Del Lago, the needs were minimal there, but we did look at some athletic fields and court upgrades, some site signage for safety and navigation there, and then the reconfigured of the administration entry for safety and security, that single point of entry. And then for the adult school, general modernization, and then looking at future parking expansion, biggest. And so,
Can I ask a question? We discussed briefly, and I don't know if you considered of relocating that facility. You remember?
yes, we did. We discussed it. We didn't do the full feasibility of costing it out and things like that. There'd be a
Okay.
lot of impacts to that, but
Okay.
if you want to direct us specifically to do that, then we would have to take that on as additional scope for the project. So key findings, just to summarize, we prioritize projects to support revenue generation. So again, looking at things like lighting and field upgrades, anything that might be a potential to generate funds for the district. Prioritize curb appeal, safety, and welcoming environments, CTE projects. We looked at life cycle replacement by year, so a year by year basis, and then long-term program are in a later priority. And so we broke it down, let me go back. We did break it down by site and then priority, and then we also broke it down for you by site, and then some of the different categories so you can see how some of those out there.
Just real quick, on the site by priority,
Mhm.
is that on the implementation planning? I'm looking for the column that might say priority, or where would I find that? Or
Yes.
that back on this one here?
Yes, this slide. Yes.
Okay.
This
I'm sorry
summarizes
I'm sorry that I wore my contacts.
It's okay, I know. And I'm summarizing a lot of data in a presentation. And so, we can break it up and slice and dice it all kinds of ways, which is why we have a dashboard for you. And so the key component of the master plan is that we wanted to create something that was live and that was dynamic for your team. So there is a master plan website that explains the master plan process, goes over enrollment capacity dashboard, summary of our visioning and community engagement, and then it also has the project dashboard with all of the cost information in there. And you can sort and filter and look at it all kinds of different ways. And then one of the key elements of that is that we are able to generate reports for record keeping and accountability. So as things are updated and changed or you need to share it out, we can update that live data, but also give you some reports so that you can review that.
On the master plan website, where is that address on here that we could send people to? Or
We haven't, until you adopt, we haven't launched it. So that's what we need you for. Before we make it fully public, we want to make sure that you have adopted it and that it reflects what you want to share with the community.
Very good. I'm going to ask a quick question.
Yeah, please.
Did you say this is a living document?
Yes.
When is it going to lock down? I mean, like, what's the life expectancy for it to be a living document before it can be executed?
So when I say a living document, what I mean is that it can be updated in real time to reflect progress or changes, right? Okay. Typically in the past, what you might have for a master plan is something that is like a printed document. It goes in a binder and it kind of lives on a shelf for 5 to 10 years, right? But if something changes, it's really hard to go back and update that. And so we're trying to make something that's a little bit more dynamic using technology to do that. Now, from a state perspective, they want to see a master plan that's within 5 years if you're going after any funding for projects. And so a refresh is recommended every 5 years. But in the meantime, what we would say is Mike and his team, as projects are completed or anything changes, they can go into all of the data and update projects and say, this project has been completed, give it a change in status. They can change a priority. If you guys have determined you have some other projects that you want to move up in priority or move down in priority, you can change those priorities. So that's what we mean by living document.
Okay, thank you.
any other questions? Guess not. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I did look up Robert's Rules of Orders here, just so that we can do this appropriately. And as it relates to discussion on this, so what I need is I need a motion to make a motion for this, and then we get a motion, a second, and then we discuss it before we vote. And so can I get a motion on this, please?
I move to approve.
And a second, please?
Second?
All right, with that said now, I'm not going to call the vote yet because I do know that there's some discussion that needs to be had on this. Would any board members like to say anything?
I was going to have a brief discussion on what my thoughts are on the master plan, but I think I might leave that towards the end unless it's necessary for me to speak upon it now.
Well, since we have a motion and a second, we have to vote upon it.
Okay.
And so,
If you have something.
I mean, there is a Brown Act, so that David and I have spoken about this, but I have not spoken about this with any other board members, just for the audience listening.
Okay.
So why don't you go into your details of what you think?
Okay. So one of the key things I want to discuss, and it may be a little lengthy, but I think it's worth for discussion and maybe inclusion in September 2025 for the board agenda meeting. But I'd like to declare an opportunity to establish a public trade school in Escondido. And the reason being, during my time on this board, I've spoken often about liberty, opportunity, justice, and accountability. Today, I rise to speak about something even more immediate to the daily lives of our students. California public school system is governed by a one-size-fit-all framework that pushes all students through a college prep pipeline regardless of their interests, strengths, or economical reality. And while college is a noble pathway, and I'm a prodigy of that. It's not the only one. Not every student is meant to go to a 4-year university or a 2-year degree program, and that's okay. What is not okay is when their system punish them or sidelines them, those who don't. Today, I propose we do something bold, necessary, and transformative, converting one of our district high schools into a dedicated public trade school. Why a trade school and why now? Workforce demands is urgent. California and the U.S. faces a critical shortage in skilled trade, electricians, welders, certified nurse assistants, HVAC technicians, mechanic, carpenters, and plumbers are aging out. And there are not enough trained young people to replace them. National security and public infrastructure depends on trades. From shipbuilding docks to military bases to climate resilient buildings upgrades, America needs skilled labor more than ever. This is especially critical in defense-related trades such as electricians, welder, pipe fitters, and diesel mechanic careers can begin in high school and contribute to the national direction of our security. Trade jobs are not less, they are essential and high paying. The average salary of a certified HVAC technician in California is $63,000 a year. A licensed electrician can be anywhere from $74,000 or higher. A welder can earn between $50,000 to $85,000 a year, depending on their specialty. The job offers the student zero debt and upward mobility, with many becoming business owners or union leaders. Poverty is persistent in California, and education must be a part of the solution. Over 4.5 million Californians live in poverty. That's a shame for this state. We need to do something about it. With youth from working class immigrants or underserved backgrounds of disproportionate impact of students, for many of our students, college debt is neither realistic nor helpful. But a trade certificate, that's a paycheck. That's rent. That's independence. This trade school will be a ladder out of poverty for kids who will often get ignored by the mainstream system. Immigration and underrepresented students deserve a real pathway to the American dream. We can align this program with legal residence and military pathway for those seeking U.S. citizenship, particularly in the I-needed national defense and infrastructure trades. It's a good for Escondido, it's good for America. The initiative will benefit local unions and businesses. We can forge a public-private partnership with trade unions, manufacturers, medical clinics, construction firms, and military contractors, ensuring our students get real-world exposure and job placement pipelines. What I'm proposing, I respectfully request this board to place this onto the next agenda, begin a feasibility plan to convert one of our existing iSchool campuses into a fully accredited public trade and apprenticeship iSchool, offering state certification programs and demanding careers. Request waivers or pursue legislation to bypass outdated educational code restrictions that limits our ability to implement vocational and trade-focused curriculum tailored to real students and workforce needs. Engage local employers, unions, and trade organizations to co-design the curriculum, internships, and certification programs to ensure relevance and job placements. Partner with U.S. military, Navy, and defense contractors to offer military alignment training tracks for students interested in skilled service and pay pathway to citizenship. Elevate this as a bipartisan community-wide cause, uniting conservative, liberals, business leaders, laborers, unions, partners, and educators around the shared goal of creating real opportunity for our kids. Let us stop forcing every children to walk a path they didn't choose. Let's give them a road where they can build with their own hands and dignity that comes from earning an honest living. And that's all I have to say on that topic, but I do propose that we consider this for an agenda item. Serious thoughts.
One second, Trustee Durney. So we've got, so I want to come back to you. Trustee Durney has something to say, but I want to come back to what you just said. Yes, sir.
I would very much like to follow up with what he said. You said the same thing, only much better than I was going to. A few weeks ago, I was driving down from Riverside, and I noticed the Riverside County of Education has a school of career education. And that gave me the idea that, you know, we're big on CTE here. I would like to see one of the schools say, hey, you know, maybe we switch it over to a CTE school, and then you come up with this stuff. So you just said what I want to do, just better.
I'm sorry I took the wind out of your sail.
Oh, no, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. To add to that, I thank you so much. You know, right now, our nuclear industry, especially our submarine, need 90,000 electricians. They're going to need, in the next 10 years, 500,000 more. So there's a lot of needs for the trades in this state, and it's a very lucrative profession for people that are hand-on and don't go through the normal requirements that are necessary. They're not ready. Some kids are not built or anything for you know, a higher education other than their apprenticeship. That doesn't mean it's right or wrong, but what's important is that eventually, you know, they're going to need a living, and this is an opportunity from them just graduating from high school and that's it, and have nowhere to go. This gives them a pathway to making a real living and you know, humble.
Maybe schools need to evolve a little.
Thank you. Yes, a lot.
And just for the sake of understanding, so we have a motion and a second for this item, which would be to approve the facilities master plan. And from what I understand, the scope of what you've been currently asked to do, you have done. Tonight it's being presented, and we would adopt that. But out of this item and this discussion, could further direction be given to continue the process with this to look into feasibility of what could that potentially look like? Because the whole facilities master plan, as far as I'm concerned, is a dream, right? So this is a dream. Like, if we have this dream, what could that look like, and would this be the right opportunity to give further direction once this gets adopted to explore that?
Beyond the dream, it does tell us what we do need to work on.
Right,
there are some
right.
priority
But
items,
it's
which I
also-
really like that.
I saw
but
a really big number at the end, like
500
505 million or something like that. So it's
And
kind
that
of a
is if
dream,
you
the
were to
ideal.
do
Everything,
everything to
right.
bring everything up, right? Should you decide that you want to change the program of one of your sites, I would say form follows function. So we would want to understand what the vision for that program looks like. And then we would be able to develop a feasibility kind of study for what that would look like on a particular campus. What would be the impacts of it? What would be the cost of that? And fold that into your master plan. But when you asked about a dynamic plan, that is an example of why we have a dynamic plan, because should you change your priorities as a district or your programming, you would want your facilities master plan to reflect that.
So by adopting tonight, it by no means says that
No,
we
not at
couldn't,
all.
like, so we would adopt this and then potentially have an item on the agenda for future discussion that would continue this.
We would have a plan that allows us, an actionable plan that allows us to begin prioritizing and moving on some of these projects. But if there is a new vision that develops, we can come back to the plan and add modify, etc. So, plan already encompasses a lot of CTE priorities. What Member Vincent is proposing is a rather radical change, and I would think we would come back and amend master plan once that vision was better developed. Right now, it's inchoate, but once it has firm ideas behind it, we can definitely revise the plan. A master's plan is not forever.
It may be a radical here, but it's not in other parts of the world or other
Right.
countries.
In other parts, in other
and
countries have
states.
this vision.
In other states, okay. So this is a vision that I see is going to uplift and get some of these individuals that are under poverty into positions of helping them in the
Right,
future.
and I wasn't questioning the validity of your plan, just as it pertains to the master plan tonight. You can approve the master plan tonight and still work on the vision.
Yeah.
Well,
Because
And
I
mas-
realize it's going to be a change in curriculum and it's going to require waivers. So
That's what I meant by radical.
Yeah.
It would require deep changes in the way we do education. And so it's not like we could just postpone the adoption of this master plan another month or two while we work out this new vision. Will be a major undertaking if we wanted to go in that direction. And we would go back and revisit the master plan at that time.
Oh,
And they would want that information to understand whatever the school needs first. Want to understand the needs of the school before you, any sort of facility study. for
I've
that.
been doing a lot of research. I think I can help in that way. It's going to require a new curriculum to be developed by Martine. I hope you got your pencil sharpened up. I have a lot of respect for you, and I think that you could develop something in a way that follows in the trades and the maths that's required, as well as the other aspects that are required. But it is going to require some degree of a waiver on that.
So here's the deal. As we know, we always point to the LCAP. As we also know, and by the way, you can feel free to take a seat if you don't have to speak the whole time. Is that it's often referred to as, just a compliance document. But even the master plan pointed to the LCAP. I do feel that one high school in our district in particular must be revamped radically. I think it is beyond saving, and it does not conform to the future of education. AI is probably going to replace 40% of all marketing and writing jobs out there. And yet, currently, right now, today, there are 500,000 factory jobs open to people that are not trained to take those jobs. And so, although we have a motion in a second, I'm going to offer two different alternatives here. One, we can withdraw the motion, or we can vote on it. I am not going to vote in favor of approving this master plan tonight. I think that we definitely need to really put a hard stop look at what our district is doing. The number of students we have is down 30% in a decade. Our entire district is below math and English standards. And I think that we really need to put an emergency plan in place. And if we just go ahead and approve one more.
Boxes, sure, they bring you stuff, but they can't make a pool day more fun. Maria, though, who sold you her loungers on OfferUp, just threw in a cooler for free. Discover life outside the...
Just get folded into probably San Diego Unified or something. We'll have so few students. And I think what David is trying to do with this, quite frankly, is save the district and build student enrollment. So I'm going to put forward to the board that we can either vote on this, and you know how I'm going to stand, or we can pull the motion and bring it up at another meeting.
Well, since we've already got the motion and everything, we should vote.
Well, should and have to are two different things. We do not have to vote. The motion can be pulled, and then we don't have to vote on it.
Can I ask some further clarifying questions? Everything that was presented in this master plan, does it need this approval tonight to move forward? If there's projects that were already on the horizon for the next month, 2 months, 3 months, what are we?
A specific project that was already in the works wouldn't necessarily be tied specifically
Right.
to the master plan, but any funding that we wanted to try to get either through Proposition 2, we wouldn't be able to apply for because you specifically need a facilities master plan
To apply for
apply
that. So
for-
because I'm very familiar with Prop 2 because the Palomar Health was awarded a $50 million grant from Prop 2 to build the behavioral health hospital. So that money, I never refer to anything as free money. I've heard elected officials refer to things as free money, and I'm like, there's no such thing. But there is money out there for intended purposes to go to school facilities, and we are an incredibly qualified district to receive some of this funding. So I would really have a hard time missing out on taxpayer dollars that are intended to go to the incredible programs, and we are one of those worthy school districts that would qualify for this funding for. And so while I understand that there are some really big discussions we want to have, and all of us want to have those discussions, I do not want to hold up something like this that could leverage some important dollars out there. And because I write grants, I know time is of the essence. And sometimes you have to have these things approved to move forward, or board resolutions, different things that in the past I've missed out on grants because the board wasn't meeting that month and I couldn't get a resolution. And I'm not trying to minimize what's happening here. I just want you to understand that what we could miss out on by not understanding that we can separate, like if we're not really all clear that we can separate that discussion from tonight's motion and still have a very robust and a conversation that can direct staff to explore this and do stuff, but without missing the mark.
Yeah. My thing is, I see some big numbers in there, okay, in this plan. What's our odds of getting all that money for all these changes? I mean, there's a lot of,
Yeah, so I would say, to give some context, when we look at a facilities master plan, I work with districts throughout the state. There's not a single district where their master plan, their final dollar amount that reflects their need, where any district has the resources to complete that. But we do look further out and say, if you were to do every single thing you wanted to do, what would that number be? But that's why we have an implementation plan, and we start to prioritize and break that up and see what can we accomplish. Now, your eligibility for your funding is established based on the age of your facilities, based on the number of pupils that are served by the age of your facilities. You guys have not been overly active in the program, so you have actually quite a bit of older eligibility that you can use. What we always recommend is that you get in line. I do want to point out too, when it comes to Proposition 2, we have been waiting for this bond for probably 10 years now. And there is already a line, and there are workload lists, there are unfunded lists, there are hundreds of districts that are already in line waiting for funding. And so what we encourage districts is, no matter what, get in line, recover your eligibility, even for projects you've already completed, get your money, and that can extend whatever facilities projects you want to work on in the future.
okay, that makes sense.
In line without a facilities master plan adopted.
Right, but do we have, so I'm going to say something that's going to sound rough, but it's not meant to be. So can you, by chance, put the screen back up with the circle, the one that showed the priority projects?
Hopefully there's
Okay.
safety, yeah.
That one.
Mhm.
So, let me get,
Not sure if it's
yeah,
here
no,
on this
that's,
screen.
hold on a second. How
But
many
the matrix also shows, so for example, if you did fire life safety, that's $7 million.
So
That
do
we've
we-
estimated, right?
Right, so have we identified specific, that's so weird, oh,
Projects?
that's okay. Oh, here it is. Have we identified very detailed, specific projects that we want money for?
Yes.
Like, could you name maybe the top three, because I can't read this?
So yes, so most of that is in the dashboard. So specific projects, and again, we've grouped things because we
I'm gonna
haven't.
tease you that
Yeah.
dashboard is not published, that's why I can't look at it. You said it's not up yet, right?
Yes, but we did provide it to the board.
Right.
I've been looking
I'm
at it.
still trying to understand it, so keep going.
Okay, no problem. So we have identified line items and groups of scopes of work. Now, it hasn't been identified in terms of specific projects that you're going to implement because you are not at that stage yet. We've prioritized and grouped those things. So for example, fire life safety, those projects have been included in priority one. So if you wanted to do fire life safety projects, you could do that at all of your sites. You could do that at a select number of sites.
Is that a safety related thing, or is that related to being like a fireman or something like that?
No, so when we say fire life safety, that has to do with things that are like your fire alarm
Got it.
systems
Okay, thank you.
and anything to do with.
Piping,
Sorry, go ahead.
sprinkler systems for
Yes.
fire and
Yes, exactly. Also, some things to understand in terms of context of building schools. Anytime you go in and you address a facilities project, most of those facilities projects have to be approved by the Division of the State Architect. They have requirements. If you go in and you want to do, say, a classroom upgrade, let's say you want to just upgrade your carpet or things like that, you're still going to have to do a DSA review. If you have any outstanding issues for things like path of travel, like your ADA requirements, they're going to make you
Okay.
fix those things.
Okay, that's fine. So one of them is like fire life safety. Was there one other one that you got a sense from our group of what we really want to get money on next?
So the lighting upgrades were also included in
So the fields for the athletics.
the
Okay.
fields and the lighting upgrades.
So David, I guess this goes to you and Christy. I mean, I'm not confident that we'll follow up on this. I feel like we'll just keep going down the same path. And sure, we need to get in line to get some money, but I feel like we need to hold the money back until we get a really strong plan on what you just proposed, Trustee Vincent.
If we hold the money back, we're only hurting ourselves, Bob.
That's your well, I agree to disagree with you on that, but that's fine.
And
So
I-
that's why,
unless-
wait, I want to hear from Trustee Vincent real quick, and then you, Bill.
I don't want to. These are some of these safety issues because we discussed the HVAC system is aging in one of the buildings and that, correct?
Mhm.
So that's going to have an adverse effect on the student. So I don't want to impact anything that's going to hurt the students in any way or form from a safety perspective. I still think we need to put this on the agenda for the next meeting and do a deep dive and discussion. I don't know if we decide to do this from a cost perspective. You just said, yeah, you can update the plan accordingly, correct?
Yes, this is not a commitment to spend.
Okay.
This is not anything like that. It's just a documentation of your need, and the state is now requiring that districts go through this exercise to document their need, partially so that the state has a better understanding of facility needs across school districts.
And I can appreciate where Bob's coming from, President Bob, because we seem to rubber stamp things and we don't have time to really go into the details we need to understand. I know we've had meetings on it, but I feel that when we're putting these plans together, really to me is what are the major priorities. To me, cosmetics of a building and that is not a priority to me. What's important is the programs and the construction of labs, things like that. To me, the cosmetics is lower down on priority because it's not a risk in that. It's going to draw enrollment is having a state-of-the-art program that sets us above all other districts and that and encourages enrollment and increases enrollment and that. There's a reason why we're seeing a decrease in enrollment because some of the programs that we are offering, there's no gateway for students to be able to go into the trades and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm hopefully, it sounds like some of the board's members are with me in that, and that's an important thing. But I can't make a decision for them, but I will be willing to consider approving this plan if we're able to update it accordingly to put this in, because we have to do some discovery first and then figure out the legalities of what we propose to do and how that's going to impact the district itself. I'm very highly confident it will make a difference, a paradigm change in this district, be setting a trend that may become statewide, and that because it's much needed, because we have too many kids in poverty that has no pathway to the future. And like you mentioned before, there's 500,000 factory jobs. They need skilled mechanics, they need electricians, they need factory workers, all those things. Okay.
And maybe let me chime in. I think, and maybe I'm not seeing something right, but I don't think that the plan that you're talking about for the school necessarily has to be tied to this adoption tonight. Like you said, it can be
No,
it can
I
be
agree.
a future revision. It can be a future and when you mentioned that if you want to hold on to the money is not coming tomorrow by any means. If we got in line tomorrow, which we wouldn't get in line tomorrow, even with an adoption tonight, there's a lengthy process for Proposition 2, many plans. I mean,
It has to do with the wait list, right? We always encourage districts to get in line for that funding because there's already years-long waiting lists. And typically the cycle on that is a year to 2 years, right, for you to even access that money. But you have to submit first. And that's based on your previous eligibility. This isn't even moving forward on these projects. This is taking advantage of getting money for projects you've already completed, right? So it's getting that reimbursement that you are already owed. But in order to get that reimbursement, you do have to have
Mrs.
your
Phillips, do you
paperwork.
know how much we're owed?
we have
Roughly.
$42 million right now of eligibility that exists today.
And if we don't apply for it, we don't get it?
Correct.
But
But we
if we
could
do
use
apply
it.
for it, we may get it?
We will get it someday when it is our turn.
Yes.
Okay,
So once
that-
you get in line, as long as you get in line and that money is not already encumbered, right? So it is a first come, first serve basis, right? So you have to get in line in order to access it. But once that funding disappears, and that's what has happened over the last 10 years, and that's why there's such a long line, because there's projects that have been waiting.
Trustee Durney, you were going to say something and I was interrupting.
Basically, I'm seeing this as a roadmap of what our needs are and what they could be. Anytime we want, we can take a detour off the roadmap. We can change the map anytime we want, and we don't have to pay for the thing at the destination because we may not get there. So, I mean, I'm looking at this as the staff can use this to prioritize what needs to be done and then come up with other projects for us, which we then still have to approve the money for. This isn't doing anything for money approval. That will still come later when we come up with the projects that this shows us what we need to do.
Correct. I wanted to chime in with that too, that anything this large that is in this scope, that would be in this plan, some of these buildings would be awarded by a bid, would probably have architect designs. All of that would come through the board for approval prior to it even happening. So if there was a project that the board thought wasn't in line with the vision, or we were still trying to change the focus or the vision of a campus, and you thought perhaps we were getting too far ahead, you would see those plans coming to you prior to them even happening.
Understood.
This is a blueprint for the board. All the projects still get approved on a case-by-case basis. I'd like to clarify that this facilities master plan is not a compliance document in the same sense the LCAP is and some other reports that we have to do. This was entirely voluntary. The board itself wanted us to, I mean, I made the recommendation and the board approved, let's develop a facilities master plan a little less than a year ago. And so we set about doing that at expense of tens of thousands of dollars, many man hours, and getting input from hundreds of people to reach this point at the board's direction. I think it would be futile to abandon it at this.
I don't think anybody's abandoning it.
Okay, so I just want to clarify that it is a living document that can be amended. We can even create an all-new master plan from scratch if we wanted to. If you wanted to reapprove it and go through the same process we did the last 8 or 9 months, we can do it again if the vision were to change that significantly, say, 2 years from now.
And it may. Okay.
All right, unless there's any other discussion, I call for the vote. All in favor, say yay.
Yay.
Aye. Aye, aye. The motion passes. So the master plan is approved. All right, so we move on to district operations, section I.
President Wilder, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
How do we put this on the agenda?
So
Educate
at
me.
board member comments at the end, bring it up and we'll add it
Okay,
to the agenda.
appreciate it.
Yeah. District operations, adopt recommended revisions in board policy administrative regulation 3311, business services. I'm going to hand this off to the superintendent to kind of guide us through these various.
This first recommended revision comes from the Business Services Division, so I will let Amanda Phillips describe that for you. It's the second read.
This is a second reading. There have been no changes. This was just a quick reminder on our bids. BP and AR all recommended CSBA language.
All right, can I get a motion to approve it?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It passes. All right, we now move to item I2, first reading of recommended revisions in board policy 3400, business services. I will pass that back to Mrs. Phillips.
So this is our EP 3400. It's talking about management of district assets. So as we have been doing some more construction, we have decided that it would be beneficial to break out our capital assets into the, if you can see what the changes we've made, we've broken out equipment and land and building improvements. It was very low. If you look at it, the threshold was only $5,000 for both. The last time this was updated, it was 2001. There has been a tiny bit of inflation since then. And so construction costs have just jumped just a hair. And so while we're leaving the equipment threshold at 5,000, we are increasing the land and building improvement to 25,000 to just maintain that inflation threshold. So when we've run this through legal, we've run this through our auditors. So they are all in agreement. We're good with this language, but this is actually homegrown language, not CSBA language.
I take it that you're happy with the language?
Made it ourselves.
Okay. This is not up for a vote, but is there any discussion?
I didn't look at it too closely, but I know that we are able to do a lot of work in-house, which is pretty amazing. So is there anything in there that talks about, to the extent possible, that we do the work internally, or is that not?
No, it doesn't break that out necessarily, because it's just about the threshold that is spent.
Okay.
And then the only caveat we made is about, I think, federal funds, because there are some federal funds that have a lower threshold in there that we have to follow.
All right. And since we don't need a vote, we'll move on to the first reading of first reading of recommended revisions in administrative regulation 1312.3 human resources. So that will go to you. I'm working on your last name, Kirpalani.
Got it.
Mr.
Correct.
Kirpalani, got it.
Thank
Only
you.
took one night.
I appreciate that. This first reading is being brought forward because there's a need to update the email address for the compliance officer listed in this administrative regulation since Dr. Good, the previous assistant superintendent of human resources, is no longer working in our district.
All right.
Yes, and I'll make one note. I noticed that our district website had the change, but San Pasquale's still needs to be updated. So I think it's site by site. You'll start to find those. So
Thank you.
I did notice that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that. So then we're going to move on to item 3, first reading. Oh, wait, that one. I guess we're on to board member reports. Is that true, Mr.
Yes, it is.
Superintendent? We made it. So let's see. Why don't we start with Trustee Durney, and then we'll go Vincent, Knight, and Weller.
Okay, thank you. A couple of things. One is I'd like to see, can we move this podium? I'd like to see if it can be moved off to the side or something. It blocks a lot, rather massive, especially from the side over here. From the middle, I don't think it blocks as much, but I lose a quarter of the audience and they lose us. The other thing I want to say is I appreciate that the public had an opportunity to speak up today. I thought I might have been in church because I heard so much scripture. Again, that I am a Christian. I do go to church in Escondido weekly. I was even reading scripture from the pulpit a few weeks ago. And for the record, I do not plan on resigning, and I will be running for office again next year. That's my report.
All right, thank you. Trustee Vincent.
Well, I'm just looking around at this amazing job. Isn't it professionally done, right?
It's the most beautiful.
I know, it's great. So this shows you how professional trades are, and how valuable by the craftsmanship that they create. And with that note, I have to say that I would like for us to put the proposal that I discussed today onto agenda for the next meeting.
So make it very specific, though, David, that it relates an agenda item
Okay.
to look into turning one of the high schools into a trade school and whatever waivers are necessary for that.
Yeah, a new declaration of opportunity, establishing a public trade school in Escondido, evaluating one of the school's potential.
Right. Did you want to say something to that?
Well, I have some ideas on how we would approach that and clarify that. If there's somebody else on the board who
We'll
wants to
second
see it.
that.
Second it, okay,
along
so
with that.
we are going to have an agenda item then on a future agenda. I hear Member Vincent suggesting it be as soon as next month, September. It will require us to kind of have definitions first to make sure we're all talking about the same thing. So I'm wondering if we're talking about what is trade education versus
I can give you a detail.
versus CTE, because we already do career technical education. So I want to be sure that we're addressing the correct topic. Also might be a chance for us to share with you the recently adopted master plan for career education.
I already read it. It doesn't limit it to what we've, you sent it to me and I read it, okay? So there's limitations to that.
So obviously you want something above and beyond what's in California.
Absolutely.
And for career education.
Absolutely.
So you would like a presentation from the staff. Would appreciate clearly defined idea of what that presentation would be in September. I know
I'm thinking that we would put it on the agenda to have a discussion of further detailing it. We don't need a
Exactly.
presentation.
Okay.
Yes,
Just
thank
like
you.
put it on as a discussion with more detail that I'm sure Trustee Vincent and Trustee Durney would be bringing.
Yep.
Actually look at the closest things that currently exist out there. The Riverside example, perhaps, something out of Vista High Tech High. We could look at some models that already exist. And maybe that might be something that if the staff were to bring anything, it might be
Sure.
kind of some things of
bring
what's
some
out
ideas
there.
like that, and I appreciate that we can launch with the discussion to kind of guide where we want our research to go, because we have a lot to do in the next month to
Oh,
get
for sure.
school started.
Got that.
We need school
Yeah.
underway.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I'm fine with just a discussion for next month. No action needed. Just let's start talking.
Talking about it.
Absolutely.
we now move to Trustee Knight.
Oh, and so with that, as I am now a consumer of our district, I shared that earlier today. I will have a freshman at San Pasquale. I actually do have a freshman, apparently. Now that he started sports, he's officially in high school. So, yeah, I will have a whole new lens and hat to wear as a parent, not only a parent of a student, but a consumer. That's how it's the word I keep coming back to, because we are consumers of education, and education is something that people consume. And I will be sharing things from time to time that I come across, and by all means, it is only to improve our district and make things more user-friendly for both parents, kids, everybody. So I'm excited. Thank you.
There was that one thing.
Go Eagles.
Trustee Knight. Trustee Knight, you were going to bring up that one other thing regarding the mandated training.
Shut off my mic. In our board update, we were given information about required training that has been mandated. And anytime there's a mandate from the state of California, for me, I'm going to immediately have red flags, because anything mandated can be concerning. So it was a training for staff, and when I further explored staff, it was very specific to certificated staff and only certificated staff. And for that reason, it raised red flags for me. So with further understanding on this item, it's a training that is comes out of an assembly bill. Can you refresh my memory on what that assembly bill was?
I vaguely recall it being 5, but it amended the California Education Code to require LGBTQ cultural competency training of all certificated staff annually for the next 5 years.
The next 5 years. So what raised red flags to me, number one, was that it was limited to only certificated staff. For whatever reason, the law was written, whoever wrote it didn't seem to think that other staff would benefit from this type of a training. So that was very concerning to me, is that if a competency training is required for teachers that are interacting with students, I strongly believe that that same competency training should be provided to all members of our staff. So with that, because this mandated training and the state was providing a link that only teachers could access, I would like to, and again, further clarification on this law. I did a lot of reading on it because of policy. I tend to consider myself I love policy, so I read it. And it does not require us, while it's mandated, it does not require us to use the spoon-fed version of this training that does not allow anybody else to take it. So I strongly believe that our district is capable of preparing a training that would meet all of the requirements that this state-mandated training requires, as well as perhaps more encompassing and more comprehensive, and would be available to all staff in the district. So I would like to propose that, and I don't know how other board members feel about that. But again, it would require staff to put some time, and or whether if it's our staff or something else out there, there is the opportunity to do a more comprehensive training that is all-encompassing and inclusive of all staff members.
I've definitely found that our staff is super competent, and that the fact that the state shoves stuff down us all the time is rather disconcerting and inappropriate, but that's another discussion. So what I would like to propose is that we do bring this back and pass it on to staff and say, look, we have the entire year to implement this, so let's go ahead and bring it in-house, write it internally. Honestly, I think that it could be done fairly easily, making it more relevant to our specific needs, as well as implemented for school-wide policy, and just to hold off on the state mandated one this month and bring it back at a later time in the year when we can do that. So do we need do you need a vote from us on that, or is that
'Cause
Christine?
I know this is not something the board, again, lately when state is pushing stuff down, like there's things that the board wouldn't normally vote on, but this to me is a red flag. Why would only teachers be be required to take this training, and why only for 5 years?
No,
But anyways.
the board does not need to vote, nor can the board vote since it was not an agendized topic.
Okay.
This is mandated training, so the administration would simply carry out the law. Our job is to implement the law. So we will make sure that the district obeys the law. The way this legislation was written, the CDE wrote the curriculum. You're right in your research that the law does state that districts have the option to do their own in-service training rather than use the state-supplied training called PRISM. I mean, if I'm hearing direction from the board to slow down and pursue our own in-service training in lieu of the state-provided training, staff can do that.
Yeah, I mean, we're
You have to
just
finish it.
checking
Can
like
I chime in just from the
boxes.
fiscal
That training,
standpoint?
that training.
It's mandated training. We will have to negotiate with both bargaining units.
Yeah.
For paid time.
Yeah.
Just want to throw that out there for
Thank you.
everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody knows.
Yes.
The law states it must be done during their workday.
It's fine, most trainings probably are.
have to
I
add a
mean,
work
all of the ones that
Pardon?
I have to do in LMS are on my work time, but
Our pre-service training days are in August, so we would have to find time within the workday before the end of the year to do the training during their normal shift.
I'm sure they'd
That
be,
might be a staff meeting at some point.
that'd be great.
those currently,
We would
those
potentially
types
miss
of.
the boat on the pre-service days.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
I just don't like the idea either of it just being this like box that's being checked, like, oh, did you do your training, 15 different trainings? Because trust me, there's probably like easily 15 trainings that you have to sit through in one day, and it depends on what you do, what you're training. But if it I feel like this training should be done thoughtfully and inclusively for all staff, and.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you did some research on this and caught this. So thank you. But yeah, I mean, advisory from the board is to bring it in house and find.
Board members.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah. So both of us. Okay. So we need more specific definition, then we're gonna bring it in house and write it and find it later on in the year.
That's the.
That's what I want.
Consensus.
Okay about that?
Does the board have consensus for that?
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Oh,
Oh,
it's not
just
a vote.
consensus.
None of our mandated trainings are votes.
Yeah. Okay, great. All right, there you go. Board consensus. Is there anything else in?
Directing the staff.
Yeah.
For your preferences.
Yeah. Trustee Knight, is there any more?
I think that was all.
Okay. For me, I'd like to bring back that we discuss and vote next month on changing our bylaws on the way we choose our president and vice president to reflect how 99% of the rest of the districts in San Diego choose us is with president and vice president is through vote, not just through rotation. So I'd like to bring that back. Is there anybody else on the board that would be eligible that we do that?
Nope.
Well, that's one no. Is there anybody?
I would be well open to discussing that and looking at the bylaws, and I'll be quite honest with my concerns with it is we have a board member who's absent again this evening and is scheduled to be board president next year if we do a rotation. And I'm sorry I'm publicly saying this, but I want to publicly put it on the record. We have a board member absent again. I'd like to see it on the agenda next month.
Very good.
Point of clarification, this board does vote on board officers. It's just the bylaw.
Just an automatic rotation.
Bylaw, yeah, dictates that there be a rotation. We always vote. What I'm hearing is that you want to consider the idea of removing the rotational language and just putting it up for a vote. The Ed Code requires that officers be elected at the annual organizational meeting. It has to be done during a certain window in December.
Yep.
So you want to bring it back for
Next month.
discussion, or do you want
Well,
staff to
it can
actually bring
be-
a proposed bylaw to consider, or?
Well, we actually, if we mirrored CSBA's language, does CSBA language currently call for a vote of the board for those positions?
Yes.
So we,
But the CSBA language, I think it's what most districts use. It doesn't have a rotation in it.
Right,
It just
we
says
wanna
the
take
board
it-
will select a president, a vice president at its annual organization.
What's interesting though is I don't know if staff has to do anything because it's our governance handbook that we put together ourselves, and I think we just need to take out the rotation.
The selection of officers is not in the governance handbook, it's in the board bylaw.
in the board bylaw.
Okay. So then how do we make that change to take out the rotation aspect?
Bylaws are like any board policy or administrative regulation.
Okay.
Bring it to the board for a first read usually, and then you bring it back for a second read and you change the bylaws.
Okay, so basically it's one sentence we're gonna pull out. The rotation
I'd have to
aspect.
take a look. It might be more than sentence.
Cool.
I just recall from when we updated bylaw last time. Does seem like
I know we
we had
did have-
significantly more language in it.
And we
than
had
the-
some discussion previously because there was a time where a member of the board stepped down from the board and then somebody replaced them. So there was some discussion at
amended.
that time about how that process went. But we didn't
And how
change
that-
anything related. Right, it didn't affect, like we didn't touch
and
that.
I'm remembering, it was that process that made me realize we have a lot more language in our bylaw with the selection of officers than the boilerplate CS.
All right,
If you
that-
want
But
to
from
bring
a-
back the CSBA language for the board to look at, talk about.
I mean, because we have September, October, November, vote in December, so we have 3 months.
And
to determine.
honestly, there's been times, like I'll think back to the very first time when I was president. I was still very new, and it was a rotation process, and I was very nervous. I had a brand new baby, and I remember thinking, I can't do this. This is too much. But the fellow members of the board encouraged me to do it. You know, go for it. I think you'll do okay. But there was a sense of like like I was forced, and I was told at the time like you could be skipped over, like we could. But I do remember that experience. So there may be times where there is a board president that may need to serve more than 1 year based on experience or any number of things. I've seen it. While I've also seen it abused at different levels, where someone chooses to be board president multiple years in a row. I don't necessarily think that I think we've done a good job with it, but I also publicly express my concern about attendance being an issue.
I think attendance being an issue is a separate issue.
Agree.
And that needs to be addressed. But I've heard from people in the past that our board has been seen as the gold standard of boards, and part of that has been because we've had no internal political fighting, jousting for I want to be president or anything like that. We've gone through a rotation. Everyone goes and everyone does the same thing. Boards can get contentions where it's like, here, let's form a little block here and we'll do this and I'm going to stand power and stuff like that. Like you said, where a president's been in charge for multiple years and is just running the place. So that's a possibility, but
I would suggest
gotta
that this
stand-
is exactly the discussion you would have next month.
Thank you.
When it
Oh, the
will
one
be an
you wanted to
agendized topic.
We'll get there.
All right, board member reports are over. We move to the superintendent's report.
Thank you. Good evening, and I hope everyone had an opportunity to enjoy some rest and relaxation this summer. First of all, I too would like to welcome Sharon Kirpalani to his first board meeting as our new Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources. Ron has been hard at work since the beginning of July, so welcome aboard. And in the spirit of welcome, we soon will be welcoming staff and students for the new school year in the next couple of weeks. First day of school for the 25-26 school year is just 2 weeks from today on Tuesday, August 19th. Across the district, staff are working hard to ensure a smooth and successful start. I'm excited to welcome our students back on campus. Our schools are also preparing to welcome families to our back to school night events. Escondido High Schools is on August 28th, Orange Glen High School on September 4th, Valley High School on September 17th, Del Lago Academy on October 1st, and San Pasqual High School is on October 6th. So with that, thank you for being here tonight, and I look forward to a great 25-26 school year.
Right. I guess we are adjourned at 9:13.